Lu Chen walked out of Qin's house in a big way, but Qin Tian didn't dare to stop him at all. This trip to the Qin family made Lu Chen a lot of money, and he collected 50,000 life points from Qin Muyan, as well as a low-grade dragon soul needle from Qin Muyan. It was a worthwhile trip. Lu Chen smiled faintly. Qin Hao's right arm was cut off by Yuan Hong's sword. The sword energy of Yuan Hong's sword may have invaded his body. It won't be long before Qin Hao will be in pain all over his body. The only one who can save Qin Hao is only Lu Chen. This is another great time to get some wool. Now Lu Chen just needs to go home and wait quietly for this fat sheep to be delivered to his door. 3 days later, the Qin family. Dad, I can't survive. I feel like I'm going to die. Dad, save me. Qin Hao was lying on the bed with a sluggish expression. His eyelids were drooped, he was drowsy, and he was so weak that he couldn't even lift his fingers. However, the painful tingling sensation in his veins made him unbearable and found it difficult to sleep. For 3 whole days, there was not a second of rest. This was a nightmare for Qin Hao. The eldest elder of the Qin family, Qin Juge, had been frowning and his face was pale. Even he could not restrain the corrosive power of the Yuan Hong sword from spreading. In just 3 days, the masculine power in Qin Tian's meridians was completely eroded by the sword energy. If this continues for no more than a week, Qin Hao is afraid that he will be tortured to death by this power. Qin Tian was even more anxious and anxious, with a look of despair on his face. Qin Hao was his only son, and he could not watch his life disappear no matter what. After a long time, Qin Juge said, Qin Tian, don't be anxious. Great elder, can I not be anxious? Hao is my only son. I must not let him die. I will save him no matter what. Qin Juge was not annoyed when he was interrupted and continued. Maybe Lu Chenner has a way to save Hao, but I don't know if he is willing to let Hao live. Qin Tian's face was ashen and his whole body was trembling. When it came to that boy Lu Chen, Qin Tian wanted to cut him into pieces to relieve the hatred in his heart. It's just that Qin Hao was angry with Lu Chen at that time, and now it's probably impossible for Lu Chen to save him. But what if Qin Muyan went to beg him? A glimmer of hope ignited deep in Qin Tian's eyes. This is Qin Hao's only chance to survive. Mu Yan, go and beg Lu Chen. This is the only chance to save Hao. Qin Muyan, who was standing outside the house, suddenly shook her body. She staggered forward and walked into the house. Qin Hao raised his eyelids with difficulty. His voice was hoarse and indistinct, and he begged with all his strength. Sister, go and beg Lu Chen. He listens to you the most. Ask him to come and save me. Mu Yan, hurry up and go, Qin Tian ordered without explanation. Father. Qin Muyan wanted to refuse. Doesn't asking her to go to the Lu family now mean a sheep entering a tiger's mouth? Lu Chen is no longer the one who obeys her words. No one knows what will happen here. If Lu Chen becomes animalistic and uses this matter to threaten her, the consequences are simply unimaginable. Qin Muyan will never allow that to happen. Sensing Qin Muyan's hesitation, Qin Tian became angry. What else is more important than Hao's life now? If something happens to Hao, you can't even think of staying in my Qin family. Qin Tian roared desperately. His roar contained endless madness, as if he was going crazy. Qin Imu's soft and delicate body trembled slightly, her teeth clenched, and she couldn't express the pain in her heart. What kind of abyss was waiting for her? I know, Dad, I'm going to the Lu family right now. Qin Muyan held it in her chest. It was clearly Qin Hao's fault, and she had to repay it for him in the end. This was the first time Qin Muyan felt that her unreserved devotion to Qin Hao was not worth it. Then, under the eager gaze of several people, Qin Muyan left the Qin family lonely. Go to the Lu family, which she never wanted to set foot in her whole life. Half a quarter of an hour later, Qin Muyan also arrived at the Lu family successfully. Lu Chen was practicing martial arts at this time, and all the destiny points he earned in the past few days were used to exchange for pills. In 3 days, his martial arts had reached the peak of the 3rd-level martial arts master, and he was only 1 step away from breaking through to the 4th-level martial arts master. The old housekeeper Cheng Yuyong gently knocked on the door, and Lu Chen opened his abyss-like eyes. Master, Miss Qin wants to see you. Lu Chen let out a breath and finally came. He didn't expect the Qin family to be so patient. They waited until Qin Hao ran out of oil before letting Qin Muyan come to the Lu family. Lu Chen pushed the door open and saw a graceful girl not far away. The girl's long eyelashes moved slightly, and her graceful body twisted slightly, revealing her stunningly beautiful face. Lu Chen smiled and said, "I wonder why Miss Qin came to visit my Lu family." Lu Chen, stop pretending to be confused. The sword energy in Qin Hao's body is your fault, right? Lu Chen smiled and said, "That's natural. That idiot Qin Hao speaks freely, so I just give him a simple lesson." Simple? Do you know how much harm the simplicity in your mouth has caused to Qin Hao? So are you here to blame me? If it's just for this matter, Miss Qin should please come back. Qin Muyan raised his eyes and saw Lu Chen's disinterested look. Qin Muyan was silent for a long time before speaking in a hazy and cold voice. "Lu Chen. Please be noble and let Qin Hao go. After all, he is mine, younger brother. I'm not talking about you. Is this Qin Muyan's attitude towards asking for help? Why does it feel like you are ordering me?" "Lu Chen, what do you want?" Lu Chen looked at the delicate Qin Muyan in front of him jokingly, then turned his head and said softly, "Uncle Cheng." Cheng Yuyang understood this and hurriedly retreated. Qin Muyan panicked instantly. Her beautiful eyes were fixed on Lu Chen, paying attention to his every move. If Lu Chen dared to do something excessive, she would definitely fight him to the death. Lu Chen slowly approached Qin Muyan. Out of fear, Qin Muyan unconsciously took 2 steps back. Lu Chen sneered. "Miss Qin, she seems to be afraid of me. If you are afraid of me, why come to my Lu family alone?" Suddenly, Lu Chen accelerated his pace suddenly, and his figure appeared in front of Qin Muyan like a ghost, scaring Qin Muyan so much that he stepped back. Lu Chen suddenly stretched out his hand to grab Qin Muyan's tender body, pulled her soft and delicate body into his arms, and a fragrance unique to a girl overflowed into Lu Chen's nose. At this moment, Qin Muyan's fair face was flushed. Although she had expected that Lu Chen would do something excessive to her before she came, she was still very ashamed to be held in Lu Chen's arms now. Qin Muyan pushed Lu Chen away and panted lightly to calm down. "Lu Chen, if you dare to do anything to me, I won't let you go." Lu Chen leaned close to Qin Muyan's ear and whispered like a devil, "Qin Muyan, don't forget that your brother Qin Hao's life is still in my hands. Now I give you 2 choices. 1. Get out of my Lu family, and 2. First, get out of my Lu family, and secondly, follow me upstairs voluntarily. Listen, you are voluntary." Qin Muyan was disillusioned and on the verge of emotional collapse. For a moment, he felt helpless and desperate. Lu Chen went upstairs under her gaze. I didn't even look at her again from beginning to end. It was as if he had already expected what Qin Muyan would do. Qin Mu clenched his fists tightly, and then loosened them weakly. His eyes were ashen, and he dragged his body up the stairs with Lu Chen. In the end, she chose the second option. In order to save Qin Hao, she had no choice. The outcome was doomed the moment she stepped into the Lu family. The dog's head saves life. 1 kun hour later. Ding! It has been detected that Qin Muyan, the daughter of destiny, has suffered damage to her luck. Her luck has been reduced by 100,000 yuan. The reward of destiny value is 100,000 yuan. Qin Muyan has lost her identity as the daughter of destiny. Lu Chen was stunned for a moment and asked in his mind, "Tongzi, what does it mean to lose the identity of the daughter of destiny?" Literally, after losing the identity of the daughter of destiny, the host will no longer be able to obtain destiny points from her body. The cold mechanical sound came, which made Lu Chen very unhappy. You can no longer obtain destiny points from Qin Muyan. Then doesn't Qin Muyan lose the value of using it? At this time, the system continued. All of this is caused by the host process developing too fast. The host should seize the opportunity and not repeat the same mistakes and fall into a situation of no return. Lu Mo remained silent. It seemed that after breaking through the last level of relationship with the Destiny's daughter, he would lose his identity as the Destiny's daughter and he would no longer be able to gain destiny points from her. Lu Chen cursed Tongzi secretly. "Go Tongzi, why didn't you tell me earlier?" Lu Chen straightened his clothes and turned around, saying coldly, "Put your clothes together and follow me downstairs." Qin Muyan's beautiful eyes stared at Lu Chen resentfully. Tears of humiliation rolled down from the corners of her eyes, soaking her delicate makeup. Now that she's like this, doesn't Lu Chen feel sorry for her? Damn Lu Chen, he has no mercy at all. Enduring the severe pain, Qin Muyan stood up and straightened her skirt to prevent herself from showing any abnormality. Her beautiful eyes looked at Lu Shen resentfully and said, "You are not allowed to tell anyone about this." "Don't worry, I don't want to have anything to do with you now," Lu Chen said disapprovingly. Lu Chen curled his lips slightly, wondering what kind of exquisite expression Chu Feng would show when he knew that Qin Muyan had become his woman. Qin Muyan squirmed downstairs, only to see Lu Wanqing appearing downstairs. In an instant, Qin Muyan wanted to die. "I can only pray in my heart that Lu Wanqing will never see any clues." Lu Wanqing looked at Qin Muyan, who appeared in her home in surprise, and said in surprise, "Sister Muyan, why are you here? Are you here to see me?" Qin Muyan shook her head gently, her red lips parted slightly and said, "Wanqing, I have something to do with Lu Chen, so I will go back first." Qin Muyan followed Lu Chen and fled the scene quickly, as if he had done something wrong and was afraid of being discovered. Lu Chen smiled charmingly and did not offer any explanation. The appearance of Lu Chen and Qin Muyan made Lu Wanqing feel turbulent in her heart, and at the same time she wondered if something had happened between the two. When Lu Chen saw the old housekeeper Cheng Yuyang, he said, "Uncle Cheng, the sheets in my room are a little dirty. Please arrange for a servant to put a new sheet on me immediately." "Yes, master." At this moment, Qin Muyan's face was flushed, as if he could bleed, and he looked at Lu Chen with a blushing face. Lu Chen didn't take it seriously and said, "Hurry up, my time is very precious." At this moment, Lu Wanqing was eavesdropping on the conversation between the two, and murmured, "Sheets?" Lu Wanqing took advantage of Lu Chen's departure and quickly ran to Lu Chen's room and lifted the quilt. A blush bloomed on the flawless white sheets, which deeply hurt Lu Wanqing's watery eyes. For a moment, Lu Wanqing felt like the world was spinning, and she seemed to have lost everything. In the novel, the reason why Lu Wanqing becomes one of Chu Feng's harem is largely because of Qin Muyan. Lu Wanqing seems to like Qin Muyan. That's right, it's the kind of relationship you think of. Ding! It was detected that Lu Wanqing, the daughter of destiny, had an emotional breakdown and fell into deep self-doubt. Luck minus 10,000, rewarded with destiny points of 10,000. Obviously, the conversation between Lu Chen and Cheng Yuyang just now was made by him deliberately for Lu Wanqing to hear. The purpose is to let her know about her relationship with Qin Muyan, and then earn a lot of destiny points. "Lu Chen, you really deserve to die. Give me back my sister Muyan, woo-woo." Lu Wanqing in the room was crying hysterically. She never expected that her home would be stolen by a despicable man like Lu Chen. Lamborghini poisoned shuttles through the streets at night like a ghost, causing pedestrians to look up. Lu Chen calculated carefully and found out that excluding the destiny points from the elixirs purchased from the system mall, plus the destiny points earned today, the total was 130,000. It should be enough to deal with Chu Feng, right? A quarter of an hour later, the Qin family. "You should be able to find Qin Hao's room. I'm not on good terms with him." You went along. After Qin Muyan got out of the car, he didn't want to make any stop and left directly. How would she explain it to others if she were to see her now? Lu Chen didn't stop him. After getting out of the car, he ordered the Lu family's servant to lead him to Qin Hao's room. Qin Tian had been staying by Qin Hao's side for a whole day. He didn't think about tea or food. He could only pray that Qin Muyan would convince Lu Chen to let him save his son. But he had been waiting for a whole afternoon, but Lu Chen didn't show up. Could it be that that dead girl Qin Muyan didn't go to the Lu family at all? Qin Tian began to doubt. Otherwise, given how much Lu Chen liked her, how could this matter have been delayed until now? He looked down at Qin Hao, who was ashen-faced, and his face changed from time to time. He clenched his hands and said fiercely, "Hao, if something happens to you, even if I risk my life, I will avenge you and help you with my own hands. Kill Lu." "Old dog Qin, who do you want to kill?" Lu Chen opened the door and appeared in front of Qin Tian. Qin Tian stood up and smiled awkwardly. "Young Master Lu, you are finally here. Please be noble and let Hao go. Look me in the face, son of a bitch, and answer my question. Who do you want to kill?" Lu Chen's abyss-like eyes were filled with biting coldness, and the murderous aura deep in his eyes surged. Qin Tian's heart skipped a beat and his expression was slightly distorted. He didn't expect Lu Chen's appearance to be such a coincidence, and Lu Chen actually called him Zizong. Qin Tian smiled shamelessly and said, "Young Master Lu, what I said was just out of anger. You wouldn't even dare to give me 100 courages. Don't take it to heart. Lu Chen shook his hand suddenly and slapped Qin Tian on the old face. Qin Tian's old face was burning with pain. The last time he was beaten was decades ago. This kid Lu Chen actually dared to slap him. Qin Tianpai smiled and said, "Since Mr. Lu has vented his anger, please save my son." "Mr. Lu, you know that I only have one son, and Howard must not die, so I beg you to show your noble hand." Lu Chen then turned his eyes to the bed. At this moment, Qin Hao's eyes were blank, and his body was covered with a layer of bandages. Apart from the fear of Lu Chen, he could see nothing else in his dim eyes. Things. Lu Chen sneered and said, "I had known this before, why did I do it in the first place? I'll let you go today, next time you see me, don't seek death again." Although Qin Hao's eyes were distracted, his consciousness did not dissipate. He made a painful and weak hoarse voice, "Young Master Lu, save me." After Lu Chen asked Qin Tian to help pull off the gauze, he frowned slightly when he looked at the looming white bones, at the scars on Qin Hao's body and the black flesh eroded by Yuan Hong's sword energy. Qin Hao can endure such an injury until now, which can be regarded as a character. A month ago, if Qin Hao was injured by the Yuan Hong sword, there would be no chance of survival unless the elders of the Lu family came to heal his injuries in person. But things are different now. Lu Chen not only obtained the heaven-level Kung Fu, 13 needles of the Ghost Gate. He also obtained the heavenly divine weapon Dragon Soul Needle, and Lu Chen was confident that he could completely cure Qin Hao. But he won't do that. It's impossible for him to help Qin Hao completely cure it. Lu Chen took out a slender golden needle out of thin air, inserted it into Qin Tian's chest at an extremely fast speed, and used the powerful spiritual power in his body to pull away the corrosive air remaining in Qin Hao's chest. Qin Tian's old eyes widened. Did Lu Chen, that bastard, want to kill his son? However, Qin Tian didn't dare to disturb him at all. Lu Chen had his own temper. If he got angry, who would save his son? As Qin Hao's expression gradually recovered, Qin Tian was completely relieved and doubted Lu Chen's strength in his heart. The corrosive power that even Qin Juge, a martial sage of the Qin family, could not deal with, was like a torrent in Lu Chen's hands. It is commonplace to drink water. Is this kid really the Lu Chen he knows? In just 1 month, he went from a second-level warrior to a third-level martial artist. His strength improved by leaps and bounds, and his temperament also changed drastically. Qin Tian felt as if he was a completely different person. As Lu Chen pulled out the Dragon Soul Needle from Qin Hao's chest, Qin Hao also fell into a deep sleep. Qin Hao had not closed his eyes for 3 days and 3 nights. His body and mind were tortured and tortured. There is nothing more important than getting some sleep now. Qin Tian noticed a slight snore coming from Qin Hao's nose, and his anxious heart finally relaxed. "Master Lu, Howard was reckless this time. Thank you for letting Howard go." "No need to thank you. I'm in a hurry and leave first." "Yes, Mr. Lu, I'll see you off." Lu Chen felt extremely comfortable in his heart. The identity of the young master of the Lu family was really useful. Even if he cut off one of Qin Hao's right arms in front of Qin Tian wouldn't even dare to fart. He would have to respectfully invite him back and wait by his side like a dog. Although Lu Chen had removed the corrosive energy from Qin Hao's body just now, he left a Dragon Soul Needle in Qin Hao's chest. As long as Lu Chen controlled it slightly, he could make Qin Hao return to the West without anyone noticing. Take Qin Hao's life. Qin Hao is Qin Tian's lifeblood. If Qin Hao dies, I don't know how furious Qin Tian will be. However, it is not the time for Qin Hao to die yet. It was almost 10 o'clock at night when Lu Chen returned to the villa, and the villa was brightly lit. It looks like someone is acting like a monster again. Sure enough, as soon as Lu Chen entered the villa, he met the eyes of Lu Wanqing. Lu Wanqing's eyes were as cold as ice, shining like a 1,000-year-old cold pool. She stared at Lu Chen, gnashing her teeth, looking like she wanted to cut Lu Chen into pieces with 1,000 knives. "Lu Chen, why don't you explain what you did to Sister Mu Yan this afternoon?" "Explain? Is there anything to explain? Besides, what do I do is none of your business?" "Lu Wanqing, who do you think you are? Do I need to explain to you?" "Lu Chen, I will remember everything you did to Sister Mu Yan today. One day I will return all the pain I suffered today to you 100 times. Lu Wanqing said coldly, Her pink lips turned pale, and she looked really angry. "Oh, really? I can give you a chance to take revenge on me?" Lu Chen joked, not taking Lu Wanqing's threat seriously at all. In his opinion, no matter how capable Lu Wanqing was, he would not be able to cause much trouble. Lu Chen paused and said, "Father will be back in a few days. It seems that my father will break through to the 7th grade martial emperor soon. Before my father advances to the 7th grade martial emperor, if you can defeat me, even just once, the position of head of the Lu family will be given to you." As soon as the words change, Lu Chen said coldly, "But you only have 3 chances to challenge me. If you lose 3 times, you should naturally pay the corresponding price, and the price is..." Lu Chen walked up to Lu Wanqing and whispered something in her ear. Lu Chen's devilish whisper sounded in Lu Wanqing's mind. Lu Wanqing's delicate body trembled slightly, and her petite chest rose and fell violently. Cherry's little mouth kept opening and closing, cursing. "Asshole, I will never lose to you. After you lose, I will dig out your eyes, cut off your ears, and chop you off. Avenge Sister Muyan." "Revenge? That's ridiculous. How do you know Qin Muyan didn't do it voluntarily?" Lu Chen sneered. In Lu Wanqing's heart, Qin Muyan is like a pure white holy angel without any dirt. She will never allow anyone to insult the perfect sister in her heart. "Lu Chen, I will kill you." A white long sword appeared out of thin air and appeared in Lu Wanqing's white palm. The long sword whirled lightly, turning into white silk and wrapping around Lu Chen. The white long sword in Lu Wanqing's hand is also a mid-level earth-level weapon, named Lingxi sword. When attacking, the soft and hard strength of the sword will change according to the strength of the user. The white sword blade turned into a long white ribbon and wound towards Lu Chen. Lu Chen was unprepared and his hands were tied tightly together. Lu Wanqing used a sudden force and threw Lu Chen into the air. Lu Chen didn't show any panic, and sneered. "Miss Lu is really despicable. She actually took advantage of me to launch a sneak attack while I was unprepared, and you weren't afraid of being laughed at? Lu Chen, are you worthy of calling me despicable? Have you done enough dirty and nasty things?" Lu Chen couldn't help laughing. "Ha ha ha. Then Lu Wanqing, why don't you tell me what dirty things I have done?" Lu Wanqing was stunned. She really couldn't think of it for a while. Lu Chen had always been dull and taciturn before. It seemed that he had never done anything unsightly and dirty. Seeing that Lu Wanqing was silent, Lu Chen smiled and said, "Why can't you tell me? Then let me tell you about the dirty things you have done. Lu Wanqing, let's not talk about the fact that you have been stealing my breakthrough resources for 15 years. On weekdays, because Qin Muyan and I were so close, you secretly sent people to teach me a lesson. And you peeked at Qin Muyan." "No. No. Don't say it again." Lu Wanqing was desperate. Why would Lu Chen know about this kind of thing? At this moment, Lu Wanqing suddenly felt dizzy and almost lost her footing. She suddenly realized that something was wrong. Her power was gradually disappearing. As Lu Wanqing's power disappeared, the Lingxi sword in her hand was also out of control, and she let go of Lu Chen. Lu Chen landed steadily on the floor without any harm. On the other hand, Lu Wanqing's limbs were limp on the ground. Her beautiful eyes looked at Lu Chen resentfully. Her white teeth bit her red lips and said, "Shameless person, what have you done to me? Are you only allowed to make sneak attacks and not me?" Lu Chen had already expected that Lu Wanqing would go crazy. Before she took action, he used the Dragon Soul Needle to block the spiritual power in Lu Wanqing's body, preventing him from using any force. "It's a pity that you wasted your 3 opportunities to challenge." Lu Chen pretended to be sad and felt sorry for Lu Wanqing. Lu Chen stepped forward slowly, kicked Lu Wanqing to the floor, stomped on Lu Wanqing's head and said coldly, "You are still young if you want to kill me. Lu Wanqing, don't blame me for not reminding you. Every time you fail, you will pay a heavy price, so just spend tonight here honestly." After that, Lu Chen waved his hand, and the Lingxi sword broke free from Lu Wanqing's hand and flew towards Lu Chen. Lu Chen immediately grabbed the hilt of the sword firmly. With a slight movement of thought, the sword emitted a layer of silver-white sword light. The white silk blade wrapped around Lu Wanqing's petite body and passed through the crystal-inlaid chandelier on the roof of the villa. In an extremely insulting posture, Lu Wanqing was hung in the air. Lu Wanqing's face was full of reluctance and horror. When did Lu Chen become so powerful? An unprecedented sense of humiliation swept through Lu Wanqing's heart. It all seemed like a dream. She was stepped on by Lu Chen, and now she is still hung in the air by him. What a shame. Goodbye, my good sister, haha, sooner or later, I will kill you with my own hands. Lu Chen's voice was as cold as if it came from the nine nether hell. Lu Wanqing said weakly, Lu Chen, you bastard, if you have the guts, let me down. I will kill you now. By the end, Lu Wanqing's voice was as thin as a mosquito or a fly, and maybe even she couldn't hear it. But what makes Lu Wanqing find it incredible is when did Lu Chen do this to her? Or in front of her? When did Lu Chen become so powerful? With great doubts, Lu Wanqing slowly closed her eyelashes and completely lost consciousness. Ding! It was detected that Lu Wanqing, the daughter of destiny, had damaged self-esteem and suffered an emotional breakdown. Her luck was minus 5,000, and she was awarded destiny points of 5,000. Lu Mo nodded silently, then returned to the room and entered the state of cultivation. During this period, he must stabilize the spiritual power in his body. There are bound to be disadvantages in using pills to break through. If he does not stabilize it properly, it will be harmful to him in the future. Breakthroughs create obstacles. The Lu family is particularly lively today because the head of the Lu family, Lu Zhanyuan, is back. Rumor has it that he single-handedly fought dozens of martial arts warriors from the martial saint realm of the Sakura Kingdom, trampling the faces of the Sakura Kingdom's samurai under his feet, which can be regarded as a bad breath for the people of the Dragon Kingdom. Today, Lu Zhanyuan is even known as the strongest martial saint in the Dragon Kingdom in the Sakura Kingdom, the invincible myth. After Lu Zhanyuan was received by the senior officials of Long Kingdom, he couldn't wait to return to the Lu family. The people he wants to see most now are his two children, Lu Chen and Lu Wanqing. Dad, you're back. Lu Wanqing was as happy as a child, trotting all the way to Lu Zhanyuan, hugging Lu Zhanyuan tightly with her lotus arms. She couldn't wait to tell her father all the grievances she had suffered during this time. Lu Chen turned to look at Lu Zhanyuan. Lu Zhanyuan's eyebrows were like arrows and his eyes were like falcons. Yuan's black eyes were always filled with a murderous aura. However, the moment he saw Lu Wanqing and Lu Chen, that murderous aura also dissipated. All gone, replaced by a softness. Even Lu Chen couldn't help but admire in his heart that his cheap dad was really handsome. Even compared to him, he was no less handsome. At the same time, Lu Zhanyuan was also a loving man. After Lu Chen's mother passed away, he never thought about continuing their relationship and took care of Lu Chen and Lu Wanqing alone. In Lu Chen's heart, Lu Zhanyuan can definitely be regarded as a responsible father. Father. Lu Chen looked at Lu Zhanyuan with steady eyes, without any grudge in his heart, and shouted from the bottom of his heart. Lu Chen, you seem to have calmed down a lot after not seeing each other for a few days. Lu Zhanyuan patted Lu Chen's shoulder. He had also heard about Lu Chen's changes during this period and was very satisfied with it. By the way, Lu Chen, tell me honestly, why did Feng Medical Fairy expel you from the school? Although Lu Zhanyuan had asked Lu Chen many times on the phone, Lu Chen just kept silent and seemed reluctant to mention the matter. Lu Wanqing answered, Dad, Lu Chen doesn't dare to tell you what else could be the reason. It must be that his true nature was exposed and made Medical Fairy Feng angry, so he was expelled from the school, During this time when Lu Zhanyuan was away, she was bullied by Lu Chen a lot. Now that she has her father's support, let's see what Lu Chen dares to do. Lu Chen was amused by Lu Wanqing's triumphant look. Haha, if you don't want me to make your scandal public, just shut your mouth. A dog can't spit out ivory. Lu Zhanyuan frowned slightly. The relationship between the two still had not improved at all. What a headache. Dad, it's like this. Lu Chen also truthfully told Lu Zhanyuan the treatment he received in Huayang Mountain. Lu Zhanyuan was silent and looked at Lu Chen silently for a long time before sighing softly. Forget it, since Feng Medical Fairy has expelled you from the school, you can't just hold a grudge against her. In terms of seniority, even I have to respectfully call her senior. Her existence must be buried in your heart and you can't tell anyone. People. Dad, this is natural. I have never grudged Master because of this incident. On the contrary, I respect her very much. Lu Chen said with a smile, his smile purely without any unnecessary emotions. Lu Wanqing spat in a low voice. Oh, hypocrisy. Lu Chen had the urge to slap Lu Wanqing to death, but he couldn't do it in front of Lu Zhanyuan. He just looked at her coldly with a smile on his face, but his face was itchy again, right? Have you forgotten that you were hung in the hall a week ago, and how long did you beg me to let you down? Lu Zhanyuan realized that the power emanating from Lu Chen's body seemed to be more solid than a month ago, and he was probably already at the peak of a third-grade martial artist. But how is this possible? You must know that a month ago, Lu Chen was still in the middle stage of a second-grade warrior. Lu Zhanyuan still asked, Lu Chen, what state are you in now? Although Lu Zhanyuan is a sixth-grade martial saint, Lu Chen's true strength cannot be seen when Lu Chen has not fully released his spiritual power. As a warrior, he can only fully demonstrate his strength when his strength fully explodes. Lu Chen didn't intend to hide it and replied. Dad, I am now a fourth-level martial arts sect. As he spoke, his strength exploded without sparing any effort, and his true strength was fully revealed. Lu Zhanyuan's eyes suddenly trembled, and Lu Wanqing even let out a sweet cry of, "Ah!" Lu Chen was already a powerful fourth-level martial arts master. Zan Lu Zhanyuan clapped his hands and laughed. Ha ha ha, my son Lu Chen has the qualifications to be a martial emperor. Lu Chen panicked in his heart. Dad, don't talk nonsense, I'm afraid. Lu Wanqing held her breath and listened quietly without saying a word. At this time, she had already paused, and her beautiful eyes looked at Lu Chen in disbelief. When had this person whom she had never looked down upon surpassed her? Are you from Feng Medical Fairies gang? Lu Zhanyuan asked curiously. No, the master didn't provide me with any help in my cultivation. All of this was just a lucky epiphany for me. It can be regarded as a matter of accumulation and success, Lu Chen replied. During the month that Lu Chen studied under Huayang Mountain, although he was nominally Feng Zhu's apprentice, Feng Zhu never taught him anything. If he did, he just threw a medical book to Lu Chen and asked him to memorize it. The name of the herbal medicine. As a result, before Lu Chen could fully remember it, he was framed by that bastard Chu Feng and driven out of Huayang Mountain. What a man who has accumulated a lot of experience, and everything comes naturally. He is worthy of being my son, Lu Zhanyuan, haha. Lu Zhanyuan laughed heartily, feeling proud of his son. The elders of the Lu family have always looked down upon Lu Chen. If these old men knew that Lu Chen had broken through to the fourth level of Wuzong, their jaws would probably drop. Lu Chen, you must remember that you must not be arrogant or wanton. Martial arts is not something that can be achieved overnight. It is about accumulation over time. Since you can break through 2 major realms in just 1.5 months, it is enough to show that you have an evil talent in martial arts. Don't waste your talent. Lu Zhanyuan taught him earnestly. Lu Chen listened carefully and kept Lu Zhanyuan's words in his heart. Afterwards, Lu Zhanyuan briefly explained some things before heading to the back mountain of the Lu family. After Lu Zhanyuan left, Lu Wanqing looked at Lu Chen intently, and after some hesitation, she asked, when did you break through to the fourth-level martial sect? Lu Chen rolled his eyes and was too lazy to pay attention to her. When Lu Wanqing saw that Lu Chen was ignoring her, she stamped her feet angrily, pointed at Lu Chen's nose and said, "Don't think that I'm afraid of you, just wait. Even if I don't have any training resources, I can still defeat you with my talent." "Oh, really? Let's wait and see. I'm waiting to see you cry," Lu Chen teased jokingly. Lu Chen glanced at Lu Wanqing, then turned away under his resentful gaze. Huayang Mountain. Fenger, you have successfully broken through to the 5th level of martial arts. It's time for you to go down the mountain to practice. Feng Zhoufun's eyes focused on Chu Feng and said softly, "Going down the mountain?" Chu Feng was a little excited. He had already had the idea of going down the mountain to see the world. But over the years, Master Fengzhu thought that his martial arts was weak and not enough to cope with the dangers of the world, so he was not allowed to go down the mountain. Now, Fengzhu actually agreed to let him go down the mountain. Feng Zhu took out the wooden box and handed it to Chu Feng and said, "Here is the marriage contract that my master made for you back then. After you come down from the mountain, you can go to the Qin family in Yanjing. During this time, you can establish yourself in Yanjing. If you encounter difficulties, you can go to my old friends for help." Chu Feng took the wooden box, opened it slowly, and murmured, "Marriage? Engagement?" Immediately, Chu Feng said excitedly, "Master, how could you be so casual and decide my lifelong affairs without authorization?" In Chu Feng's heart, no one can compare to his master and senior sister. How can the secular rouge be compared with the fairy who does not eat the fireworks of the world? Feng Ju did not expect that Chu Feng would have such a huge resistance. She smiled slightly and said, "If you don't like your fiancée after seeing her, it's not impossible to break off the engagement. After all, this was a marriage decades ago. Qin, I'm afraid I won't admit it easily." Chu Feng felt relieved now. After coming down the mountain, he must call off the marriage first. How could secular rouge get into his eyes? His wife could only be a peerless beauty like Xie Yuxuan and Feng Ju. Otherwise he would not even look at her twice. "Master, will senior sister come down the mountain with me?" Chu Feng asked. "Yu Zhan won't go down the mountain with you. She stays with me. You can't leave me alone in this deep mountain and forest. Your experience is still shallow. You need to pay more attention to this experience and don't offend others easily. Disciple, please follow your master's instructions." Feng Ju nodded slightly, and the corners of her lips curved slightly with a hint of satisfaction. After so many years, the little boy she adopted finally grew up. Suddenly Feng Yu's eyes turned cold and shone with a cold light. Long Baiyu, the hatred for killing his father is irreconcilable. When Feng Er breaks through to the realm of the martial god, your Long family will be wiped out. When Feng Ju thought that she had been hiding from her enemies for many years, she couldn't help but feel painful in her heart. She will never forget how painful she felt on the day when the Feng family was wiped out. If Feng Ju hadn't been practicing in the secular world, she might have become the soul of the Long family. After hiding for nearly 20 years, the Long family never let her go. This is why Feng Ju lived in seclusion in the mountains and forests and stayed away from worldly affairs for many years. Just when Feng Ju was recalling the unbearable past, Xie Yuxuan walked in from outside the house and made Feng Ju a pot of jasmine tea. The coldness in Feng's eyes flashed. She didn't want to tell anyone the secret she had hidden in her heart. Even Chu Feng and Xie Yuxuan, she had never revealed it. This was a scar that would never be healed. Scar. "Master, do you really want junior brother Chu Feng to come down from the mountain? Look at how stupid he looks. I wonder how many people will bully him." Xie Yuxuan stood beside Feng Ju and complained. Chu Feng is afraid that she will not come back for a long time, so she will be very bored. When she is bored on weekdays, she can still bully Chu Feng. What will she do if Chu Feng leaves? Chu Feng smiled and said, "Don't worry, senior sister, after I cancel the engagement, I will be back soon. Don't worry about me." Xie Yuxuan spat softly. "Tisk, who is worried about you?" Feng Ju was addicted to this warm atmosphere and couldn't help herself. It would be great if their lives could always be like this, but she had a bloody revenge that she had to avenge. Feng Ju opened and closed her red lips and said, "It is precisely because Chu Feng has not seen the world that he cannot clearly see the sinister nature of people's hearts. This experience is precisely to allow him to truly see through human nature, so that he will not be easily fooled in the future." "Yes, master." Xie Yuxuan nodded silently. She also knew how terrible human nature is. Just like last time, junior brother Lu Chen was jealous of Chu Feng's breakthrough to the 5th level martial lord and poisoned the sungrass that his master had worked so hard to find. He looked harmless to humans and animals, but he hid evil intentions. The human heart is really terrible. A week passed quickly. Lu Chen was leisurely basking in the sun in the garden of the villa, when his cell phone rang. Lu Chen slowly opened his inky eyes. It turned out to be Han Jun. "Master, the person you asked me to find has appeared. He has arrived in Yanjing now." Hearing this, Lu Chen sat up suddenly, raised his head slightly and said, "Brother Jun, please arrange for someone to bring him to me immediately. Remember, you must not neglect him." "Yes, master." After hanging up the phone, Lu Chen smiled evilly and murmured, "My good senior brother, I have finally come to you. I have laid out a big game for you, and I am just waiting for you to join the game." Station. A young man wearing a coarse cloth gown was looking around curiously. The young man had sharp eyes and brows, and was handsome. However, his handsome appearance was incompatible with his clothes, which made him look a little different. Many people at the station looked at him, wondering, could it be cosplay? This is actually the first time Chu Feng has gone down the mountain. He has been staying in Huayang Mountain since he can remember and has never gone down the mountain yet. When Chu Feng was confused and didn't know where he was, a luxurious Rolls-Royce stopped in front of Chu Feng. A man got out of the Rolls-Royce and said respectfully, "Are you Mr. Chu Feng?" For a moment, the doubtful eyes of the people around him turned to Chu Feng and focused on Chu Feng. Although in Yanjing, Rolls-Royce and Lamborghini are not rare things, You can see them every once in a while. But even if they were beaten to death, they wouldn't believe that this poor boy who looked like an ordinary man could be transported in such a luxury car. Chu Feng was stunned for a moment, feeling unprecedentedly satisfied in his heart. This feeling of being envied by others was really refreshing. Chu Feng smiled slightly and said, "Exactly. Mr. Chu Feng, please get in the car. The young master is waiting for you." Chu Feng frowned slightly and became suspicious of the identity of the young master mentioned by the driver. He doesn't seem to know anyone in Yanjing. Is he a friend of the master? Forget it, never mind, let's get in the car first. Amid the envious looks of the people around him, Chu Feng got into the car with satisfaction. Lu Family Villa. Chu Feng is used to living in deep mountains and old forests, but he has never seen such a luxurious villa. "My good senior brother, I have finally come to you." Lu Chen walked out slowly. Chu Feng looked at Lu Chen in surprise. He never thought that the person who picked him up would be Lu Chen, the junior brother who was slandered by him and was kicked out of the school. Chu Feng said coldly, "Lu Chen, how did you know that I came to Yanjing, and you secretly monitored me?" Lu Chen complained that he was wronged. Lu Chen explained, "Actually, it was the master who informed me. The master was afraid that something would happen to you in Yanjing, so he informed me in advance to take care of you when you arrived. Once I am a master, I will be a master forever. Out of respect for the master, I will naturally not refuse this small favor." This is naturally Lu Chen's nonsense, but Chu Feng cannot confirm this. Chu Feng frowned slightly, obviously not believing it. "Master, didn't she say that she wouldn't provide her with any help?" Seeing that Chu Feng was not easy to fool, Lu Chen said, "Senior brother Chu Feng, if you still hate me for that sungrass, I can apologize to you. That matter was indeed my fault, but after all, you are also mine. Senior brother, let me make up for my mistakes and fulfill the master's instructions." Chu Feng said nothing and stared at Lu Chen intently, his mind in confusion. Why did Lu Chen admit that he poisoned sungrass? Just to gain his trust? Chu Feng sneered in his heart and said to himself, "Lu Chen, I want to see what tricks you want to play." Although he was suspicious of Lu Chen, Chu Feng was new to Yanjing and knew nothing about Yanjing, and he really needed a place to stay for a long time. Chu Feng said in a low voice, "Then I won't bother junior brother." Lu Chen pretended to be angry and said, "Why are you disturbing me? You are my senior brother, my brother who is like a brother. Not a real brother, but better than a real brother." Chu Feng only saw the sincerity in Lu Chen's eyes, without any falsehood, but his inner guard against Lu Chen never let up. Chu Feng curled his lips and said, "By the way, junior brother Lu, have you ever heard of the Qin family in Yanjing?" Lu Chen pretended to be confused and asked, "Qin family? Which Qin family?" "To be honest, junior brother Lu, I came to Yanjing this time to break off my engagement, and my fiancée is Qin Muyan, the eldest daughter of the Qin family in Yanjing." Lu Chen pretended to be surprised and lost his voice, "Qin Muyan." "Exactly." Chu Feng smiled slightly and said, Lu Chen indeed knew about the Qin family. "Senior brother, your fiancée is actually Qin Muyan." Lu Chen couldn't calm down from the shock for a long time. "Why, junior brother Lu, is there anything strange?" "Senior brother, although I have never seen the Qin Muyan you mentioned, I have lived in Yanjing for 20 years, and I have heard about Qin Muyan, but Qin Muyan." Lu Chen paused again and again, but did not tell what happened to Qin Muyan. "Junior brother Lu, it doesn't matter. I also want to know what kind of person my fiancé is." Seeing Lu Chen's hesitation, Chu Feng was even more curious about what kind of person his fiancé was. Lu Chen took a long breath and said, "I heard that Qin Muyan is so long that it's hard to describe. Senior brother, how can you marry her? Hey. Hard to describe in one word? What's the meaning? Is it because he looks ugly?" Chu Feng frowned slightly. How could the master find him an extremely ugly fiancé? "Lu Chen, I'm warning you, even if you don't like Sister Mu Yan now, there's no need to smear Sister Mu Yan here." At this time, Lu Wanqing appeared out of nowhere, her beautiful eyes staring coldly at Lu Chen and the unknown Chu Feng beside him. "Smear it?" Chu Feng repeated. Lu Chen licked his lips and cursed in his heart. "Damn it." Lu Wanqing came out at this time. It was obvious that Chu Feng was almost convinced. Chu Feng raised his black eyes and focused on Lu Wanqing's exquisite pink face, feeling slightly surprised in his heart. It's not that he has never seen women, but as long as he can remember, the only women he has seen are the cold and beautiful Master Feng Zhu, and the gentle and approachable senior sister Xie Yuxuan. He still has a pure and beautiful girl like Lu Wanqing. It's the first time I've met. Lu Wanqing's exposed calves were as slender and straight as if they were carved from jade. The girl's every frown and smile showed the unique vitality of a young girl, and every move attracted Chu Feng's mind. But Chu Feng is not the kind of pig who can't walk when he sees a woman. Chu Feng smiled slightly and turned around and said, "Junior brother Lu, who is this?" Lu Chen had an idea and came up with a plan. Lu Chen then introduced. "Her name is Lu Wanqing. She is my sister. My senior brother Wanqing is not married yet." "Lu Chen, you want to die? What does it have to do with you whether I'm married or not?" Lu Wanqing said angrily, pointing her green finger at Lu Shen's nose and scolding her so loudly that she almost made Lu Wanqing sick. Lu Wanqing came over to say hello. "This is my senior brother Chu Feng. He is a martial arts master of the 4th level martial arts sect. He is also Qin Muyan's fiancé. Logically speaking, you should call him brother." Lu Chen fanning the flames. Chu Feng said seriously, "Please correct me, junior brother Lu. Senior brother, I am already a 5th grade martial master." As expected, after Lu Wanqing learned about Chu Feng's strength, her watery eyes sparkled, her pink lips opened slightly, and she was stunned without saying a word. Lu Chen's senior brother turned out to be Qin Muyan's fiancé. And he is still a 5th grade martial lord. Wait. Lu Wanqing suddenly thought of what happened that day when Qin Muyan came to the Lu family. Doesn't that mean that Lu Chen gave Chu Feng? "Lu Chen, you deserve to die. He even didn't let go of his senior brother's fiancé. She was simply inhuman." I just felt sorry for Chu Feng, who still called Lu Chen brothers despite his green head. At first, Chu Feng did not intend to expose his true strength, but he also saw the slightest hint of disgust towards him from Lu Wanqing's eyes. In order to leave a good impression on Lu Wanqing, Chu Feng chose to show off his strength. At least Chu Feng's goal was achieved. Nothing captures a woman's heart more than strength. "This is the master's teaching," Chu Feng said gently. "Wanqing, can I call you this? By the way, Wanqing, what did you mean when you just said that Lu Chen smeared Qin Muyan?" Lu Wanqing frowned slightly, feeling very unhappy. As the saying goes, love the house and the bird and hate the other. Since Chu Feng is Lu Chen's senior brother, he and Lu Chen are the same as each other, which is not a good thing after all. Sister Mu Yan has been ruined by this bastard Lu Chen, and she must not just watch her go to the abyss and let Chu Feng, a despicable person, succeed. Lu Wanqing did not answer, but asked, "Are you really Sister Mu Yan's fiancé? Why haven't I heard Sister Mu Yan talk about it?" She had never heard that Qin Muyan had a marriage contract. The family's marriage contract emphasized that they should be well matched, but Chu Feng's appearance did not look like a child of a big family. Chu Feng casually took out the marriage certificate and said calmly, "Of course, this is the marriage certificate given to me by my master. If junior sister Wanqing doesn't believe it, you can read it, but junior sister Wanqing hasn't answered my question yet. What exactly is the slander that junior sister said just now mean?" Lu Wanqing took the marriage certificate from Chu Feng and read it carefully without missing a word. After a long time, Lu Wanqing returned the marriage certificate to Chu Feng and looked at Lu Chen. At this moment, Lu Chen smiled meaningfully and raised his eyebrows slightly, as if to hint at something. At this time, Lu Chen used a voice that only he and Lu Wanqing could hear. "You don't want Qin Muyan to marry Chu Feng, right? I have a way to make the Qin family tear up the marriage contract." Lu Wanqing bit her red lips lightly. She finally understood what Lu Chen meant. It turned out that Lu Chen wanted to trick Chu Feng into going to the Qin family to break off the engagement. Although Chu Feng also wanted to break off the engagement with the Qin family, few men could resist the temptation of Qin Muyan's beauty and refused to surrender under Qin Muyan's pomegranate skirt. In the novel, after Chu Feng arrived at Qin's house and saw Qin Muyan's true face in Lushan, he temporarily changed his mind about breaking off the engagement. With his shameless stalking, he finally won the beauty back. But what Lu Wanqing didn't understand was how Lu Chen could make the Qin family destroy the marriage certificate on the spot. Lu Wanqing said coldly, "Senior brother Chu Feng, you heard wrong. It was just a slip of the tongue." "Misheard? How can it be?" Chu Feng continued to ask. "Junior sister Wanqing seems to know Qin Muyan." I wonder if Qin Muyan's appearance is as hard to describe as what junior brother Lu said. Lu Wanqing clenched her fists tightly. Sister Mu Yan was the most beautiful woman in the world, bar none. Lu Wanqing sneered. If Qin Muyan is an extremely ugly woman, what would you do if I ask senior brother Chu Feng? Chu Feng said very tactfully. Junior sister Wanqing is joking. I came down the mountain this time just to break off the engagement. Even if Qin Muyan looks like a fairy, I still want to break off the engagement. Really? Lu Wanqing smiled meaningfully. I'm afraid you will regret it after seeing Sister Mu Yan's beauty in her prime. Lu Wanqing didn't want to talk to the two of them at all, then turned around and left. Chu Feng looked at Lu Wanqing's slim and graceful figure, and her deep black pupils seemed a little dull. There were not more than one woman in this world who could make him dream about. How could Lu Chen not understand what Chu Feng was thinking? The Fire Yang Kung Chu Feng practiced was originally the Ziyang Kung Fu, and his resistance to women would naturally be much lower. In the novel, Chu Feng was also an out-and-out harem king. Lu Chen probed. How about senior brother? Lu Wanqing should be able to barely get into your eyes. Chu Feng just frowned slightly but didn't say anything. Speaking of which, Lu Wanqing is not young anymore, and it's time to think about lifelong events. If senior brother likes it, I can discuss it with my father. Lu Chen's meaning is self-evident. Chu Feng was calm on the surface, but he was ecstatic in his heart. He said calmly, Junior brother Lu is joking. You and I are from the same school. I am still your senior brother, and Wanqing is your sister. If I marry junior sister Wanqing, I will be afraid. You will be ridiculed by everyone in the world. Lu Chen shook his head and smiled bitterly. Senior brother, your words are wrong. Your thoughts are too futile. There is another thing that you seem to have forgotten, senior brother. I have been expelled from the school by my master long ago. Chu Feng was slightly moved, but he never regretted driving Lu Chen out of Huayang Mountain. Chu Feng said, Junior brother Lu, even if you have been expelled by the master, the brotherhood between you and me will not change. You, Lu Chen, will be my junior brother for life. The corner of Lu Chen's mouth twitched. If I didn't know what kind of person you are, Chu Feng, I would almost believe it. So senior brother agrees? Chu Feng pretended to be embarrassed, frowned and said, Junior brother Lu, I still feel it's inappropriate. Otherwise, let's forget it. Lu Chen said disappointedly, since senior brother said so, let's forget it. Chu Feng was anxious. How could he say let it go? I was just saying it. Lu Chen said, Brother, please don't be angry. You also know that Lu Wanqing is the eldest daughter of my Lu family and the only girl in my Lu family. Our Lu family is one of the best in Yanjing. Our Lu family pays most attention to face. Since you are engaged to Qin Muyan, it is naturally impossible for my father to marry Lu Wanqing to you. He just thought it was a joke on me. Chu Feng paused. That's it. Then he smiled and said, Junior brother Lu, you seem to have forgotten one thing. The reason I came down from the mountain this time was to break off the engagement. Lu Chen raised his eyes and said happily, So, senior brother agrees? This time Chu Feng did not refute, who knew what Lu Chen would say. Ha ha ha, after my senior brother breaks off the engagement, I will discuss this matter with my father. Chu Feng smiled and said, Without further delay, junior brother Lu, where is the Qin family? I will go and remove the shackles of the marriage contract from my body now and give me a free body. When Chu Feng thought of Lu Chen's indescribable words to describe his fiancée, he naturally imagined Qin Muyan as a vulgar woman. How could such a vulgar woman be worthy of him? He, Chu Feng, is the man who wants to become the martial god. Lu Chen looked at Chu Feng and said, Senior brother, you think about things too simply. Breaking off the engagement is not something you can just quit if you want. Chu Feng was very confused and asked, Junior brother Lu, what do you mean by this? Senior brother, I don't know. Although the Qin family is lonely, it is still a family that has been passed down for hundreds of years. This kind of family pays the most attention to face. If you, senior brother, break off the engagement, I am afraid that the Qin family will not agree easily. Chu Feng's expression visibly darkened. Doesn't that mean that he has to marry a woman he doesn't like? Chu Feng has been unrestrained and free-spirited throughout his life, and the vulgar fans of the secular world cannot enter his eyes at all. But senior brother, don't worry. I have a trick that allows the Qin family to take the initiative to break off the engagement, but I'm afraid the sacrifice for senior brother would be a bit big, Lu Chen said mysteriously. When Chu Feng heard this, he raised his eyebrows. Oh, really? Junior brother Lu, please tell me. Lu Chen took a step forward and whispered in Chu Feng's ear. Chu Feng's expression changed slightly. This was a good idea, but his sacrifice was not a big one. Chu Feng thought for a while, and there was nothing more important than breaking off the engagement now, and it was worth a little sacrifice. Chu Feng did not allow any discussion and said, "Okay, junior brother Lu, let's make preparations and go to the Qin family to break off the engagement immediately." Yanjing, Qin family. The master of the house is in trouble, Mr. Lu is here again. A servant quickly ran to the Qin family hall to report. Hearing this, Qin Tian's brows furrowed into a black line. Lu Chen's bastard is here again. Qin Tian gritted his teeth and cursed in his mind, "Damn bastard, my son was injured by him, and the injury has not healed yet. Now he dares to come to my Qin family. You really think I don't dare to deal with you?" Qin Tian glared angrily. "What are you looking at? Why don't you go and invite Mr. Lu in?" "No, Master Qin, please forgive me for coming uninvited." Lu Chen approached slowly and looked at Qin Tian coldly. Behind Lu Chen stood a man in ragged clothes who looked like a beggar with unkempt hair, but from his dark eyes, it could be seen that he was Lu Chen's senior brother Chu Feng. Flies were hovering in Chu Feng's dirty hair, landing on his shoulders from time to time. The shabby clothes exuded a disgusting smell. If Chu Feng hadn't deliberately endured it, he might have vomited it out. That's right, this is what Lu Chen came up with for Chu Feng. If Chu Feng was asked to dress up like a beggar and go to the Qin family to fulfill the engagement, the Qin family would definitely not agree. Based on Lu Chen's understanding of Qin Tian would definitely be furious and break the engagement on the spot. In this way, Chu Feng's purpose of breaking off the engagement was achieved. Lu Chen's purpose of prompting Chu Feng to break up with the Qin family was also achieved. It can be said that it kills two birds with one stone. However, the premise of all this is that Chu Feng does not know Qin Muyan's appearance. Otherwise, with Chu Feng's urine, he would not break off the engagement at any cost. The moment Qin Tian saw Lu Chen, his anger turned into joy, and he smiled and said, "Young Master Lu, I'm going to pick you up. Hold the grass. What smells so bad?" The pungent stench poured into Qin Tian's mouth and nose, making him feel nauseated and almost vomited. Only then did Qin Tian notice Chu Feng behind Lu Chen, and instantly became furious and said angrily, "You bastard, why are you guarding the door? Why did you let the stinky beggar come in? Why don't you drive him out quickly?" "No, the master of the family, he is Mr. Lu's senior brother." As soon as Qin Tian scolded him, the disciple of the Qin family who had just informed Qin Tian was immediately frightened. Qin Tian muttered incredulously, "He is Mr. Lu's senior brother? Master Qin is too arrogant. This is my senior brother. Why don't you welcome him?" Lu Chenxiang said angrily, his cold voice piercing Qin Tian's heart like an ice blade, almost making him heartbroken. This beggar turned out to be Lu Chen's senior brother. How can this be? Could it be that Lu Chen wanted to make things difficult for him again and deliberately found this beggar? That must be it. Qin Tian smiled awkwardly and said, "Master Lu, why are you teasing me? How can your senior brother be a beggar?" Qin Tian still didn't want to believe how the person in front of him could be Lu Chen's senior brother if he was dressed so shabbily. "Humph, teasing you? Master Qin takes himself too seriously. As for Qin Muyan, he won't let her come over to see me." Lu Chen snorted coldly, as if ordering. "Mu Yan is not at home at the moment." When Qin Muyan was mentioned, Qin Tian's face changed. He didn't dare to say another word. As he expected, Lu Chen came to his Qin family this time because of his daughter. "Not there? Well, senior brother and I will wait for her here today until she comes back." Lu Chen found a comfortable seat and sat down as casually as if he had entered his own home. Qin Tian's face twitched slightly, but he dared not speak in anger. "Senior brother, just treat it as your own home and sit wherever you want. Junior brother Lu, let's get down to business first." Yes, business is important. Master Qin, please take a seat." Qin Tian sat down reluctantly, picked up a cup of tea from the coffee table beside him, and took a sip to suppress the anger in his heart. Qin Tian glanced at the Qin family disciples outside the door, and said in a voice that only two people could hear, Why don't you hurry up and invite Elder Qin Juge? The Qin family disciple was stunned for a moment, then turned around and left, following Qin Tian's instructions to invite Qin Juge. Master Qin, do you know who the person in front of you is? Lu Chen raised his eyes to look at Qin Tian and said with a faint smile. Master Lu, didn't you say he is your senior brother? Qin Tian looked at the slovenly Chu Feng and answered honestly. He is indeed my senior brother, but senior brother has another identity. He is your future son-in-law. Boom. The teacup in Qin Tian's hand suddenly shattered and turned into powder in his strong hands. Qin Tian's face was expressionless and he was frozen there. Is Lu Chen humiliating himself? His Qin family has been inherited for hundreds of years. How could he recruit a beggar as his son-in-law? If so, I'm afraid it will become a topic of conversation among people all over the world. As Lu Chen sat there, he suddenly felt a bone-piercing and terrible chill sweeping over him. It was obvious that this astonishing pressure came from Qin Tian. However, the spiritual pressure of the fifth-grade martial lord was not enough to make Lu Chen unable to fight back. Lu Chen smiled coldly without any fear, his expression and eyes were not shaken, and he still maintained his coldness. Why doesn't the Qin family believe it? Senior brother hasn't shown the marriage letter to the Qin family yet. This is the marriage contract signed by the old Qin family owner himself. At this time, Chu Feng also took out the marriage certificate, walked forward slowly, and handed it to Qin Tian. Then Chu Feng bowed respectfully and said, My father-in-law, please accept my respects from my son-in-law. Qin Tianshan's face was ferocious, and the blood in his body was almost boiling. He took the marriage certificate with a look of disgust on his face, but without taking another look at Chu Feng, he said in a low voice, Young Master Lu, are you humiliating my Qin family? It's a shame you can think of it by asking Mu Yan to marry a beggar. Haha, Master Qin is joking, Lu Chen. Haha, Master Qin is joking. Lu Chen, have never been fond of talking or laughing. How could I make such a boring joke? Lu Chen smiled faintly, and it didn't look like he was joking at all. Qin Tian's face was extremely gloomy, and when he looked at Chu Feng, he wished he could cut Chu Feng into pieces with 1,000 knives. This stinky beggar didn't even know who he was, and he dared to propose marriage to the Qin family. Qin Tian finally looked at the marriage certificate in his hand. When he saw clearly the unique seal of his Qin family on the marriage certificate, he stared blankly at Chu Feng, who was no different from a beggar on the street. How can this be? This is clearly the mark of the Qin family. He has been the head of the Qin family for 20 years. If he can't even tell the difference, then it's really all in vain. Qin Tian finally looked squarely at Chu Feng in front of him. 20 years ago, this marriage letter was clearly signed by Qin Tian's father Qin Wei, the previous head of the Qin family and a mysterious medical fairy. Because Qin Wei helped Feng Zhu by chance, Feng Zhu had this ridiculous engagement in order to repay him. At that time, Qin Muyan was still in his infancy, and Feng Zhu did not accept Chu Feng as his disciple, so the two made an engagement. Now that I think about it, it's absolutely ridiculous. Qin Tian asked. So, you are the apprentice of the mysterious medical fairy? Soon, Qin Tian regretted asking such a stupid question. Since he is the apprentice of the medical fairy, how could he be so miserable? Chu Feng took a step forward and said, Exactly. Hearing this, Qin Tian was immediately overjoyed. If Chu Feng was really the apprentice of the mysterious medical immortal, it was not out of the question for Qin Muyan to marry him. Although he had never seen the true appearance of the medical immortal, he had also watched the medical immortal perform his medical skills from a distance. It is not an exaggeration to describe his superb medical skills as, dead bones become flesh again, and dead bones can be brought back to life. Even today when he recalls the amazing medical skills of the medical immortal, Qin Tian still remembers it fresh. If Chu Feng was really the apprentice of the mysterious medical fairy, his medical skills would probably not be much worse. In this way, wouldn't his son Qin Hao's injury be saved? Qin Tian retracted his previous look of disdain, smiled slightly and said, Little friend, I wonder who your last name is, and where did you learn from? Chu Feng straightened his chest and said politely, Uncle Qin, my name is Chu Feng. I went down the mountain to fulfill the engagement as ordered by my master. As for who my master is, I think you also know. Qin Tian was overjoyed, so the peerless medical fairy is still alive? Back then, she was seriously injured and left Yanjing alone in order not to harm the Qin family. Despite this, The Qin family was still unavoidable. The Qin family was invaded by a group of mysterious strong men. The leader did not say anything or ask any questions, and directly slaughtered many elders of the Qin family. If Qin Juge hadn't come to the rescue back then, Qin Tian's grave would have been covered with grass. The medical immortal is still alive? Qin Tian asked weakly. Chu Feng's face darkened. What does it mean to be alive? With the master's medical skills, it would be difficult even if he wanted to die. Well, master, Lu Chen saw that the situation was getting worse and worse. Why did the two of them ignore him and start chatting? I really don't take him seriously. Lu Chen coughed lightly and interrupted the conversation between the two. Master Qin, my patience is limited. Please call Qin Muyan out quickly. My senior brother came to Yanjing this time to marry Qin Muyan. This is the master's request. It's her last long-cherished wish, and I don't want master to die in peace. Lu Chen's words alluded to Feng Zhu's death. Xu Feng frowned, and slowly clenched his fingers, his bones cracking. Lu Chen, a bastard who doesn't care about life and death, dared to curse his master and treat him as if he didn't exist. Qin Tian was slightly startled. Long-cherished wish? Could it be that the medical fairy is approaching her deadline? Sure enough, human beings, life is really short. Even a medical fairy with such superb medical skills cannot prevent the passing of life. Just do it and cherish it. Seemingly aware of the anger deep in Xu Fengyuan's black eyes, Lu Chen said coldly. Brother, don't forget what we are here for. Everything I do is to help you. One more thing, I think master also I don't want you to reveal anything about her to others. There was something in Lu Chen's words, so Qin Tian naturally couldn't hear the other meaning in Lu Chen's words. But Qin Tian always felt that the two of them were hiding something. Xu Feng suppressed the anger in his heart, and then he remembered his own business. He was here to break off the engagement, so why were he chatting with Qin Tian? Xu Feng changed his previous humble attitude and said with a playful smile, the head of the Qin family still doesn't let my fiancé come out to see me. No matter how ugly Qin Muyan looks, I will not dislike it. After all, your Qin family has a great cause. Qin Tianpai smiled but didn't say a word. Xu Feng gave him a humble look before, but he didn't expect that his true nature would be revealed so quickly. Now it seems that Xu Feng is really no different from a beggar on the street. If the medical immortal was still alive, Qin Tian might still consider the engagement, but since the medical immortal was already dead, could he be allowed to fawn over a dead man? Back then, if it hadn't been for her, his Qin family would not have suffered this disaster, and his family would not have been destroyed. From a first-class family in Yanjing, he would have fallen directly to the bottom of the second-class family. Just when Qin Tian was about to have an attack, Qin Muyan also arrived. Dad, I heard that Lu Chen is here again. Is he gone? The heavenly voice sounded like a lark singing, and Xu Feng and Lu Chen looked outside the door in unison. Qin Muyan is wearing a white dress. She has a slender figure and an ethereal figure. The waves are flowing deep in her eyes. She gently lifts her jade white wrist and brushes a strand of hair behind her ear. The white dress has an inexplicable holiness. A startling glance, life seems like a dream. Xu Feng was stunned for a moment. He never expected that there could be such a charming woman in the world, even compared to his senior sister Xie Yuxuan. Xu Feng quickly came to his senses and withdrew the heat in his eyes, as if he had not seen anything. Qin Mu Yanlian moved lightly. Her beautiful eyes skipped over Xu Feng and landed on Lu Chen. Hao clasped her wrists on her chest and said coldly, Lu Chen, why are you here again? There is no relationship between you and me. Don't you understand yet? You will never win my heart. Lu Chen was confused. Why did Qin Muyan come back at this time? He had calculated the time when Qin Muyan would leave before bringing Xu Feng to break off the engagement. According to his plan, Xu Feng was kept in the dark from beginning to end. After breaking off the engagement, he didn't know who Qin Muyan was or what he looked like. What does it look like? That is the most perfect plan. It's just that the plan can't keep up with the changes. Miscalculated. Lu Chen gritted his teeth. He had already reached this point. It would be a big loss if he fell short of the success. Lu Chen touched his chin and said jokingly, Qin Muyan, you came at the right time. Let me introduce you to him. This is my senior brother Xu Feng. I brought him the fiancé your grandfather found for you back then. Please be grateful. Qin Muyan's jade hand gently pinched her pink nose, and her eyes showed an emotion called disgust. Lu Chen. Lu Chen, You don't have to be disgusted with me here. Take your beggar brother and leave the Chin family quickly. You are not welcome in our Chin family. Haha, what a beggar brother, Master Chin, is this how your Chin family treats guests? It's simply a disgrace to the Chin family. Lu Chen was silent for a long time, then turned to look at Qin Tian and said coldly, his displeasure evident in his expression. While Lu Chen and Qin Muyan were fighting, Xu Feng fell into deep thought. Is she Qin Muyan, my fiancé? Didn't Lu Chen say that Qin Muyan's appearance is hard to describe? Is Lu Chen lying to me? Damn it. Looking at Lu Chen and Qin Muyan, Xu Feng always gave Xu Feng a flirtatious look. From Qin Muyan's words just now, it seemed that Lu Chen liked Qin Muyan. Xu Feng's face was filled with unprecedented solemnity. No wonder Lu Chen, a bastard, encouraged him to break off the engagement, just for his fiancée? For a moment, Xu Feng felt as if there was something green above his head, looming. You bullied me too much. This bastard Lu Chen wants to steal the house. He turned out to be like a clown, being fooled back and forth by him. The energy in Xu Feng's body was suddenly released, setting off a strong wind, and the eyes of several people also fell on Xu Feng involuntarily. Qin Tian's tiger body trembled, and the martial aura emanating from Xu Feng was clearly that of a fifth-grade martial lord. Qin Tian's expression was solemn. He did not expect that this stinky beggar turned out to be a strong martial artist. Although Xu Feng's martial aura was unstable and he must have just made a breakthrough, he was still a fifth-level martial artist. Xu Feng's eyes radiated with almost all the anger, and he made an extremely low voice. Despicable villain, Lu Chen, how dare you lie to me? Xu Feng rarely loses control of his emotions, but this time he was really angry. Qin Muyan is obviously his fiancée, but Lu Chen actually covets his fiancée and wants to get his hands on her. How could he possibly endure this? The anger in his heart almost made his chest explode. Qin Muyan's eyes were filled with coldness. She had absolute confidence in her appearance. If she had been ugly, Lu Chen would not have pursued her for 3 whole years. Xu Feng, what do you mean by this? I helped you come to Qin's house to fulfill Master's last long-cherished wish, but you call me a despicable villain. Do you really think I'm easy to bully? Xu Feng cupped his hands and said, Uncle Qin, I have no intention of offending you by coming to the Qin family this time. I was instigated by Lu Chen to break off the engagement. Dressing up like a beggar was never my intention. Qin Tian was confused when he heard this and didn't know what to say for a moment. Does Xu Feng want to break off the engagement or fulfill the engagement? This situation is a bit complicated. Xu Feng, you are really shameless. I remember that you personally said that no matter what Qin Muyan looks like, you will get rid of the shackles of the marriage contract that binds you. Why, now that you saw Qin Muyan's appearance, you immediately changed your mind? Lu Chen said jokingly, without caring about Xu Feng's face. It seems that senior brother Xu Feng doesn't plan to break off the engagement? Lu Chen, you still dare to mention this matter. If I want to cancel this engagement, I will cancel it myself. When will it be your turn as an outsider to intervene? Outsider? The corners of Lu Chen's mouth twitched, and his face spasmed uncontrollably. When they were in Huayang Mountain, the 3 masters and disciples regarded themselves as outsiders, but now in Yanjing Xu Feng actually dared to say so. Lu Chen hated these 2 words. Lu Chen said angrily, Xu Feng really thinks that I am afraid of you. Let me tell you, I, Lu Chen, am the king in Yanjing. Whatever I say will be whatever I say. If I want you to die, you must die. You dare to try to get your hands on Qin Muyan. Are you worthy of a bastard from a remote country? How could Lu Chen not be angry? He had been chasing Qin Muyan for 3 whole years, actually not even a day, and he only got her body not long ago. And Xu Feng wanted to let his 3 years of hard work go to waste with just a piece of waste paper. It was simply ridiculous. Xu Feng said coldly, You are really arrogant. You don't know that there are people outside the world, and there is a sky outside the world. Do you really think that your Lu family is invincible in the world? Lu Chen laughed angrily, with an inexplicable curve at the corner of his mouth, and the air seemed to freeze for a moment. It's good that there are people outside the world, and there is a sky outside the sky. Naturally, I dare not say that the Lu family is unparalleled in the world, but if I casually step on an ant, it will be very easy. Third elder, cut off his head for me. As soon as Lu Chen finished speaking, the space in the hall was slightly distorted. An old man with gray hair and gray robes, Lu Jianan, the 3rd elder of the Lu family, suddenly appeared in the Qin family hall. Although the old man's eyes were turbid, they revealed evil aura, like a murderous god, whose majesty should not be underestimated. It's been a long time since I've moved my muscles. You're lucky today, kid. You're going to get into trouble. The majestic voice sounded, making Chu Feng freeze on the spot, stunned for a moment. What a speed! Although he was very close, Chu Feng did not feel a trace of martial arts aura from Lu Jianan. He felt like an ordinary old man. However, such an ordinary old man brought Chu Feng no less fear than Master Feng. Ju. Because Lu Jianan's dark eyes could not deceive Chu Feng, and the evil spirit escaping from them proved how terrifying the old man was. Moreover, he is still a powerful 6th grade martial saint? At least the peak of martial saint. The atmosphere in the hall suddenly became solemn, and several eyes fell on the old man in black robes. The martial arts aura exuded by the old man made several people breathless. Qin Tian took a step forward and said humorously, "Elder Lu Jianan, does it seem inappropriate for you to break into my Qin family's house without permission just for the sake of a little fight among the juniors? You dare to call me by my first name, just because you are the little head of the Qin family?" Lu Jianan's face darkened. Qin Tian dared to call him by his name. Considering his age, he was old enough to be Qin Tian's ancestor. "Elder Lu. Go away. Do you have any right to speak here?" Lu Jianan's muddy voice sounded, and then an unparalleled martial arts aura came out wantonly, knocking Qin Tian and Chu Feng away. "Father." Seeing Qin Tian being blown away by the domineering aura, Qin Muyan immediately rushed forward to see if his father was injured. "Ahem, Mu Yan, I'm fine." Qin Tian looked a little pale and stood up with Qin Muyan's help. Lu Chen frowned slightly. How could it be said that Qin Tian was also a peak 5th grade martial master, but with such a minor injury, he could hardly stand? "The Oscar winner is none other than you." But Chu Feng wasn't much better. His whole body was lifted dozens of meters away and he was thrown to the ground. Chu Feng struggled to get up and roared endlessly, "Lu Chen, it's nothing to bully others. If you have the guts, challenge me in a duel." "A duel? Why should I challenge you? Let me, a 4th grade martial master, challenge you, a 5th grade martial master? Don't you think it's funny?" Lu Chen actually thought it was a bit funny. If he agreed to challenge Chu Feng in a one-on-one fight, he would lose even the Kachazi. One word stirs up 1,000 waves, a 4th grade martial master and a 5th grade martial master, etc. Wait, when did Lu Chen break through to the 4th level of Wuzong? Except for Lu Jianan, everyone looked at Lu Chen with dumbfounded eyes. Even if they were killed, they would not believe it. Lu Chen, who was a 2nd level warrior just a few days ago, had broken through to the 4th level martial arts sect in just 1 month. Chu Feng suddenly laughed wildly. "Lu Chen, are you the only one? A 4th level martial sect? I'm afraid this is a realm you will never reach in your life. You will only be able to hide behind the Lu family in this life. Want to anger me? I won't fight you." Seeing that the plot was discovered, Chu Feng's face turned pale. If Lu Jianan, a mysterious and powerful martial saint, was not present, he would definitely rush forward and kill Lu Chen, a despicable person who bullied others. "I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. The 3rd elder will kill him." Lu Jianan glanced at Lu Chen, then teleported in front of Chu Feng, grabbed Chu Feng's neck with his strong and thick arms, and raised it fiercely. It was obvious that Lu Jianan wanted to completely eliminate Chu Feng in this way. The 5 fingers that grabbed Chu Feng's neck pierced his throat fiercely. Chu Feng screamed hoarsely like a dying drake, breathing with all his strength. At this time, a mechanical sound suddenly came from Lu Chen's mind. "Warning, warning, if the host kills the Son of Destiny now, he will be counterattacked by Destiny. Warning, warning." Lu Chen's head was a little big, and he responded coldly in his heart. "Shut up about the dog system. I don't need you to teach me how to do things." Chu Feng was grinning and struggling at this moment. His eyeballs were bulging and almost about to pop out. His hands kept trying hard to open Lu Jianan's giant hand, but Lu Jianan did not give Chu Feng any chance to break free. Martial arts is so cruel and real. Chu Feng, a 5th level martial master, was not even qualified to fight back in front of Lu Jianan, so he could only wait for death quietly. Qin Tian wanted to go up and help. He couldn't watch Chu Feng die here. Why did Chu Feng and Qin Muyan still have an engagement? Regardless of whether it was true or false, if Chu Feng was really the successor of the medical immortal back then, he Qin Tian the family will make a lot of money. But thinking about Lu Jianen's attitude towards him made him even cautious when breathing. Chu Feng let out a heart-wrenching cry like the roar of a wild beast. Let go. Lu Chen. You really deserve to die. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Since he can still speak, he will let you struggle for a while. Old dog Lu still doesn't let go and kills people on my Qin family's territory. He really thinks that our Qin family has no one left. Lu Chen was slightly startled when he heard this familiar voice. Sure enough, even if he really wanted to kill Chu Feng, someone would come to save him at the critical moment. Is this the destiny of a child of destiny? It seems that if you want to kill Chu Feng, you still have to wait until his luck is exhausted. Hey, I haven't seen you, old dog Qin, for half a month. I thought you were dead. Lu Jianen grinned. Qin Juge scolded back with a dark face. If I die, I will die after you, old guy, if old dog Lu doesn't let go. Lu Jianen smiled and said, Okay, Qin Laogu, I will give you this face today, and I will just let go. Then Lu Jianen violently threw Chu Feng away, and Chu Feng hit the ground hard, causing the ground to crack like a spider web. Chu Feng let out a shrill scream, which made his scalp numb. It was obvious that Chu Feng must have been seriously injured. You. Qin Juge blew his beard and glared angrily, but there was nothing he could do against Lu Jianen. The two were equally powerful, so even if they fought, he wouldn't have any upper hand. What's more, Lu Jianen is not the only martial saint in the Lu family. Chu Feng lay on the ground and gasped for air. He had never felt death so close before. It was really a suffocating feeling that was worse than death. Chu Feng drooped his arms, climbed up, and cast a grateful look at Qin Juge. Lu Chen's face was expressionless, and his deep black eyes looked coldly at the affectionate two people. At first, if Chu Feng had honestly withdrawn from the engagement and not had any relationship with the Qin family, he would not have been able to let the Qin family live for a while. However, Qin Juge was too ignorant to do it for a Chu family he had never met. Feng, if he offends the Lu family easily, he will pay a heavy price. Lu Chen is a person who must avenge himself, at least that's what he thinks. For Lu Chen, the kindness of a drop of water should be repaid with a spring of water, and the revenge of a broken tooth must be repaid with a head. The moment Chu Feng framed him and drove him out of Huayang Mountain, Lu Chen had already turned dark. Now he is even more of a villain, Chu Feng's lifelong enemy. In this case, I will betray Elder Qin Juge and spare your Chu Feng's life, but I must tell you Chu Feng, this is Yanjing, not a place for you to run wild. If you put yourself in front of my eyes, I will let you die without a burial place. Lu Chen looked indifferent, not like he was joking at all. Chu Feng's eyes were about to burst. He covered his arms, gritted his teeth and said, if it weren't for the support of the Lu family, what would you, Lu Chen, be? What I, Chu Feng, despise the most is a bully like you. Lu Chen, if you were a man, you would fight me openly. Lu Chen sneered and was too lazy to pay attention to him. Third elder, let's go. Let a dying person live for a few more days. Lu Chen turned around and ignored Chu Feng. At this time, Chu Feng suddenly laughed wildly. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect you, Lu Chen, to be a coward. Lu Chen paused. He was not a fool. If he agreed to Chu Feng, he would be the one who made a fool of himself today. But at this moment, Chu Feng said, Lu Chen, I know you have concerns. I can suppress my cultivation to the same level as you. I remember that you are a second-grade warrior. You and I will fight at the level of a warrior. Do you dare to have an upright duel? Warrior. Lu Chen turned around, touched his chin, and smiled slyly. This is what you said, don't go back on it. Seeing Lu Chen taking the bait, Chu Feng was also secretly happy. He would definitely let Lu Chen go out on his stomach today. Hearing that Chu Feng wanted to suppress his cultivation to that of a warrior, Qin Muyan looked a little worried. She was probably the only one here who believed that Lu Chen's true realm was that of a fourth-level martial arts sect. Qin Muyan murmured and hesitated to speak, but then he thought, Chu Feng had nothing to do with her, so why did she need to remind Chu Feng? However, Qin Muyan was more afraid of making Lu Chen unhappy. Lu Chen is a demon who eats people without spitting out their bones. This is natural, but Lu Chen, you must also swear by martial arts that no one will interfere before the outcome of our duel is determined. After the outcome is determined, no one can retaliate against the other party. Chu Feng looked at the old man who looked like a murderous god not far away, Lu Jianan, and his meaning was self-evident. The only thing he was afraid of was that Lu Jianan would secretly help Lu Chen while the two were dueling. Lu Chen looked indifferent and swore by his martial arts. It was a shame Chu Feng could think of it. If he breaks his martial arts oath, he may not be able to improve in martial arts throughout his life, but who is Lu Chen? Are you still afraid of this? He is a man who is not even afraid of the way of heaven. Let alone swear by the way of martial arts. Even if he swears by the way of heaven, he is not afraid at all. With the system in his body, these things have no influence on him at all. Lu Chen smiled and said, I promise you, I, Lu Chen, will. Lu Chen smiled and said, I promise you, I, Lu Chen, swear by martial arts that no one will interfere in the duel between you and me, otherwise I, Lu Chen, will not be able to improve my martial arts in this life. When Lu Chen said the last word, Chu Feng laughed wantonly. Ha ha ha, Lu Chen, I will never be lenient. Wait a minute, before the duel starts, I have to make sure that your cultivation is suppressed to the level of a warrior. Third Elder, I'm sorry to bother you. Under Lu Chen's order, Lu Jianan's figure appeared in front of Chu Feng like a ghost. His rough hands pressed on his shoulders. A burst of martial arts energy surged into Chu Feng's body, suppressing his martial arts to the peak of a second-grade warrior. Chu Feng's expression changed slightly, and now he had no way to release this layer of suppression. Lu Chen, can you rest assured now? By the way, we also ask Elder Qin to preside over this duel for us. Chu Feng bowed and said respectfully. Qin Juge did not hesitate to offend Lu Chen but also wanted to save him from Lu Jianan, which made Chu Feng very grateful. Qin Juge touched his gray beard, paused slightly and said, Okay, in that case I will be the referee for once. You two come with me. The Qin family's martial arts arena is not far away. Chu Feng and Lu Chen looked at each other and followed Qin Juge. Lu Jianan disappeared into the air like a ghost, leaving only ripples in the air where he stood just now. Qin Tian naturally followed, but Qin Muyan did not go with everyone because she knew that this was a duel without any suspense. The duel between the samurai and the martial lord is meaningless. However, this time she was somewhat grateful to Lu Chen for driving away a beggar for her. In the Qin family's martial arts arena, Lu Chen and Chu Feng stood on the stage, and the atmosphere between the two sides was tense. Following Qin Juge's command, unparalleled violent profound energy suddenly erupted from Chu Feng and poured towards Lu Chen on the other side of the ring. Lu Chen smiled faintly, without any defensive posture, and let Chu Feng's spiritual power, which he thought was overwhelming, press on him. That's it. In an instant, Wu Zong's spiritual power was released without reservation, and dust instantly filled the arena. Chu Feng's pupils shrank sharply, and he murmured in shock. Fourth-grade martial sect. How is this possible? This must be a lie. Lu Chen was clearly a second-level warrior before he came down the mountain. He couldn't have remembered it wrong. Even if he remembered it wrong, it wouldn't be such a big difference. In just 1 month, he broke through from a second-level warrior to a fourth-level martial sect. Appalling. Chu Feng was speechless in disbelief. At the moment when his eyes were dull, Lu Chen came to Chu Feng with the Yuan Hong sword in his hand. The Yuan Hong sword in his hand tore the air and struck at Chu Feng's forehead. Chu Feng hurriedly dodged sideways, and retreated violently. He staggered back 3 steps before slowly regaining his balance. Chu Feng's eyes were about to burst, and he said angrily, Lu Chen, you are despicable and shameless. You clearly promised to be upright, but you actually concealed your strength. Lu Chen chuckled and said innocently, Chu Feng, I have told you from the beginning. You don't believe in the strength of my 4th-grade martial arts master. You still insist on lowering your strength to a 2nd-grade warrior to duel with me. You are arrogant and want to die. Do you still blame me? Chu Feng protested. No, this is not fair to me at all. The duel must start again. I want to upgrade my martial arts to the 4th-level martial arts. Lu Chen's expression was cold, and he was obviously a little angry. He said word by word, Do you think I'm playing house with you? You said you're going to start over? Chu Feng, you are too naive? After saying that, Lu Chen held the Yuan Hong sword's hand tighter, and a black sword energy rose into the sky, covering the sky. The originally sunny day was instantly shrouded in black, making it suffocatingly oppressive. Chu Feng cast his eyes at Qin Juge, who was not far away. Hopefully he can put a stop to this ridiculous duel. There are two gaps between the second-level warriors and the fourth-level martial arts masters. Even if Chu Feng is extremely powerful and can cross multiple small realms to fight to the death, this is not enough to make up for the gap between the warriors and the martial arts masters. This is tantamount to seeking death. Qin Juge frowned slightly. He had not yet gotten over the shock of Lu Shen's fourth-grade martial arts strength. When did this kid break through? Have you hidden your clumsiness for so long? No wonder he dared to go to his Qin family and kick his nose in his face. With such tyrannical strength, he is probably the next head of the Lu family. It seemed that he was aware of Chu Feng's gaze. Qin Juge shook his head slightly, indicating that he was helpless. This duel was originally proposed by Chu Feng himself, and it was he who requested that the force be suppressed to the level of second-level warriors. Now that Qin Juge was asked to tear his face to stop this duel, he could not do it. Chu Feng, kneel down and beg for mercy. Maybe I will be merciful and let you live. Lu Chen, don't even think about it. If you fight to the death, I may not lose. The Yuan Hong sword in Lu Chen's hand swept fiercely, and a domineering and unparalleled sword light penetrated the space. The Yuan black sword chi shook the surrounding air and dispersed it. The sword chi mixed with corrosive power filled Chu Feng's surroundings, corroding him. Dirty beggar clothes. The powerful devouring power was centered on the Yuan Hong sword and shot out in all directions of the arena quickly. Chu Feng's already torn clothes became even more unclothed. From the torn clothes, you can see Chu Feng's everted flesh, and black and red blood is constantly gushing out. The term, bloody man, is more suitable to describe Chu Feng at this moment. Chu Feng gritted his teeth, ignoring the pain, and kept mobilizing all his spiritual energy to protect his body, preventing the black sword energy from entering his body. He looked at the black long sword in Lu Chen's hand, which was completely dark except for the crimson lines. He suddenly realized in his heart, Lu Chen, I have underestimated you after all. You have broken through to the fourth level of Wuzong in just 1 month, holding such a domineering weapon. The tearing pain that spread throughout his body stimulated Chu Feng's nerves, causing his face to convulse. Fire Yang Kung. Chu Feng's arm was ignited with dazzling red flames, burning out all the surrounding black aura. The blood stains on his arm evaporated, and the air was filled with the aura of blood. Lu Chen frowned slightly. He naturally knew the fierce Yang Kung Fu, a top-level martial skill at the heaven level. When he was in Huayang Mountain, he asked Fengju to teach him countless times, but Fengju refused in every possible way, saying that he was not suitable for training and that if he practiced hard, his body would explode and die. Lu Chen was not a fool. He naturally knew that Fengju was deceiving him, but he did not expose it. What made Lu Chen most angry was that Fengju didn't let Chu Feng practice the Fire Yang Kung in front of him, just because he was afraid that he would steal it. TMD. I would like to see what is so magical about the fierce Yang Kung that you have been hiding. Yuan Hung Immortal Slash. Then you have to watch out, 3,000 flames of fire. A dazzling fire shot up into the sky and penetrated the black barrier. Sunlight spilled in from the tear, forming a beam of light. Lu Chen frowned slightly. He noticed that Chu Feng's strength was constantly increasing. Although the amplitude was not large, it had already reached the level of a third-level martial artist. No wonder he could leapfrog the challenge. It seemed that this technique was a bit weird. If Lu Jianan hadn't suppressed Chu Feng's improvement in force, the increase would probably have been even greater. It is a pity that Chu Feng at this moment has the strength of a second-grade warrior after all. Even if he is infinitely close to a third-grade martial artist, the fierce yang technique he releases is probably less than 1/5 of its original power. There was no sound in the diffuse black fog, and the duel seemed to be over. As the black fog is about to dissipate, a figure can be vaguely seen. As the black mist cleared, they suddenly saw Lu Chen stepping on Chu Feng's chest with his right foot, and holding the Yuan Hong sword in his other hand and pointing at Chu Feng's head. Chu Feng, is this your strength? Lu Chen, why are you so arrogant, don't you dare. Ah! A scream came out, and everyone looked at Lu Chen in great surprise. At this moment, the long black sword of Yuan Hong was stained with blood, but it was soon swallowed by the Yuan Hong sword and turned into the power of the Yuan Hong sword. There is no doubt that this blood comes from Chu Feng. At this moment, Chu Feng's face was ferocious, and a dazzling blood streak penetrated his entire face. Lu Chen is extremely relieved. All the grievances he suffered in Huayang Mountain will be returned to you 10 times and 100 times. Lu Chen, the duel between you two is over, you can stop. Qin Juge stood up and spoke righteously. Yes, since Elder Qin has said so, I will show mercy and let you go. Chu Feng was so angry that he was trembling all over. If the mysterious old guy Lu Jianan hadn't been there, he would never have let Lu Chen leave alive. Lu Chen changed his voice and said, "But there is one thing I don't quite understand. Elder Qin, you seem to not want Chu Feng to die. You have rescued him from me again and again. Could it be that you are old acquaintances? Or do you want to use him to deal with you? My Lu family?" The air froze to freezing point in an instant. Qin Juge stared at Lu Chen intently. Lu Chen's dark eyes seemed to be able to penetrate everything. For a moment, Qin Juge felt that the person in front of him was not the Lu Chen he knew at all. Qin Juge had lived for nearly 100 years, and his life was not in vain. He saw ambition deep in Lu Chen's eyes, which was something that had never been seen in Lu Chen's eyes before. Little friend Lu is joking. Chu Feng and I are naturally old acquaintances, otherwise I wouldn't favor him everywhere. Seeing that he couldn't hide it from Lu Chen, Qin Juge simply stopped pretending and directly showed his cards. That's strange. Ever since Chu Feng can remember, he has lived with his master in the deep mountains and old forests. He has never been down the mountain. When did you meet him? Could it be that Elder Qin lied to me? Qin Juge's expression changed slightly. Lu Chen remained expressionless as he continued. Regardless of whether you recognize him or not, Elder Qin, I still advise you not to get too close to this bug under my feet. You don't want to see the rest of the Qin family's foundation destroyed, right? It's natural. Qin Juge said that if Lu Chen had said these words before, he would have felt extremely ridiculous, but now the strength Lu Chen showed made him feel uneasy. Seeing Qin Juge being so understanding, Lu Chen secretly smiled in his heart. Sure enough, in this world, strength is the most important thing. No, rather status. By the way, how do you resolve the engagement between your Qin family and this bug under my feet? Qin Juge looked at the marriage contract in Qin Tian's hand. Everything that happened today was because of this marriage contract. If the marriage contract was not destroyed, Lu Chen would not let it go. The marriage certificate in Qin Tian's hand suddenly flew towards Qin Juge uncontrollably, and was then grabbed by Qin Juge. A ball of flame ignited in his hand, burning the iron marriage document into molten iron and dripping onto the ground. Qin Juge said coldly, "The apple of my Qin family's eye is not willing to marry a stinky beggar. Since Lu Chen has nothing to do, please come back. I won't send you far away." Seeing Qin Juge's eviction order, Lu Chen chuckled and said to the air, "In that case, let's go, third elder." Then he released his foot from Chu Feng's chest and left without looking back. Before leaving, he gave Qin Juge a meaningful smile, which made Qin Juge feel palpitated inexplicably. Outside the Qin family, Lu Jianan appeared beside Lu Chen out of thin air like a ghost. Lu Jianan asked doubtfully, "Boy Lu Chen, there's something I don't understand. You seem to hate that senior brother of yours, why don't you let me kill him?" "Third elder, I want to kill him more than anyone else, but now is not the time." Lu Chen paused slightly as he recalled his humble days in Huayang Mountain. Lu Jianan was thoughtful, but couldn't figure it out. Could it be that that boy Chu Feng still has some value? By the way, there's something I forgot to tell you. That kid Lu Zhanyuan has already started to retreat. I'm afraid he will be out of isolation in about 2 months. Then it will be time for you and Lu Yadu to decide the winner. You also know that my elder brother Lu Zhanwang and many elders have great prejudices against you. I'm afraid it will not be easy for you to succeed as the head of the Lu family. Lu Mo nodded silently. Indeed, Lu Wanqing was deeply loved by all the elders with her innocent appearance. Before, he was an ignorant playboy who was disliked by everyone he saw. If there is no way to go, open it with your fists. When Lu Chen defeats Lu Wanqing in a majestic manner, who will question whether Lu Chen has the ability to succeed as the head of the family? Lu Wanqing was just a clown who was cheating on others, so what qualifications did she have to compete with her for the position of head of the family? What's more, the blood flowing on Lu Wanqing's body did not belong to the Lu family at all. Seeing that Lu Chen remained silent, Lu Jianan continued, "No matter what the outcome is, I will always be on your side, after all." Lu Chen raised his eyes and looked at Lu Jianan, "What exactly?" However, Lu Jianan just smiled meaningfully and did not tell the reason. In fact, even if Lu Jianan didn't say it, Lu Chen understood it. I am afraid that these elders have already been divided into two factions. One faction naturally supports Lu Wanqing, while the other faction supports Lu Chen, who has the blood of the Lu family. Third elder, don't worry, no matter what the outcome is, I will do my best. Lu Jianan nodded with satisfaction. He could see the change in Lu Chen these days. Compared with the weak Lu Chen before, he was much stronger. Then I will leave first. Lu Jianan's muddy voice sounded, and then disappeared, causing ripples in the space where he was originally. System, collect the reward. Ding, it has been detected that Xu Feng, the son of destiny, has violent mood swings, and he will be rewarded with 20,000 destiny points. Ding, it is detected that Xu Feng, the son of destiny, has resentment towards the host. Reward 50,000 destiny points. Ding, detected. Lu Chen looked at his system panel. His destiny points had accumulated to 200,000. He was indeed the son of destiny. He made a lot of money in an instant. After Lu Chen left the Qin family, Qin Zhuge quickly checked Chu Feng's injuries. Only after seeing that Chu Feng's injury was not serious did he feel relieved. Thank you, Senior. If Senior had not helped me many times today, I would have died. Xu Feng thanked him from the bottom of his heart. You are lucky to have met me this time, Qin Zhuge said, stroking his gray beard. Xu Feng cupped his hands and said, there is no way I can repay the kindness of saving my life. In the future, if my senior is useful in getting this kid, I can just ask him to do it, and I will fight against the sword in the sea of fire. I am obligated to do so. Seeing that Qin Zhuge didn't speak, Xu Feng stood up and prepared to leave. Wait a minute, little friend Xu Feng, I have something to ask you, Qin Zhuge said after hesitating again and again. Senior, it's okay to ask. Whatever I know, I will never hide it from you. You. Master, has she really fallen? The corners of Xu Feng's mouth kept twitching, and he clenched his fingers hard, and the slightly sharp nails dug deeply into his palms. Lu Chen was so impatient that he dared to insult his master. Master, she is naturally alive. As for her long-cherished wish, it is all nonsense from Lu Chen, Xu Feng said angrily. Hearing this, Qin Zhuge's originally gloomy old eyes also brightened up. The medical fairy was indeed still alive. Qin Zhuge suppressed the excitement in his heart and said, young friend Xu Feng came to my Qin house this time, probably for the engagement. When Xu Feng heard this, he laughed at himself. The marriage certificate was ruined, so what else could he say? Seemingly sensing the disappointment in Xu Feng's eyes, Qin Zhuge laughed heartily and said, little friend Xu Feng, don't you think that our Qin family are all treacherous people? Your master has made an engagement with my Qin family, and we have been together all these years, waiting for you to fulfill the engagement. Xu Feng raised his eyes and looked at Qin Zhuge in disbelief. Just now, Qin Zhuge destroyed the marriage document in front of everyone. Qin Zhuge explained. Little friend Xu Feng, if I don't do that, I'm afraid Lu Chen, that little brat, won't let it go. There is no other way. But even if there is no marriage certificate, our Qin family will not break our oath. Qin Tian's mouth twitched slightly, wanting to say something. But he didn't know how to say it. Qin Muyan was his daughter. How could he, as a father, not be moved by such a hasty decision on Qin Muyan's lifelong events? Qin Zhuge could naturally see Qin Tian's little thoughts. He used a voice that only he and Qin Tian could hear. This is a rare opportunity for our Qin family. Whether you can seize it depends on your decision. Qin Tian naturally understood that Xu Feng had the strength of a 5th-grade martial lord at a young age, and his future was definitely beyond what Qin Tian could imagine. What's more, there is a mysterious medical immortal behind Xu Feng. Qin Tian gritted his teeth, his heart pounded, and he agreed. Why not sacrifice Qin Muyan in exchange for 100 years of prosperity for the Qin family? But what makes Qin Tian slightly uneasy is that guy Lu Chen. If he knew that the engagement between Qin Muyan and Xu Feng had not been terminated, I don't know how he would go crazy. Xu Feng turned from worry to joy and said, thank you, Senior, for helping me, and thank you, Uncle. A startling glance, life seems like a dream. Qin Muyan's immortal appearance has been deeply engraved in the depths of Xu Feng's mind. Whenever he recalls Qin Muyan's immortal appearance and snow-white skin and jade body, his breathing becomes rapid, and his breath even they all started to get confused. Qin Zhuge paused slightly with satisfaction. He had already thought of how brilliant Xu Feng would be in the future. His Qin family would finally return to its peak. Qin Zhuge said, However, little friend Shu Feng, I hope you understand that until you grow up enough to compete with the Lu family, we will not disclose your marriage to Mu Yan to the outside world. The Lu family has a strong foundation. There are more than 10 strong 6th grade martial saints on the surface. The real situation is even more unknown. There is most likely a strong martial emperor sitting behind the scenes. If you want to shake the Lu family's status, I'm afraid it won't be possible. It's easy. Qin Juge let out a long sigh, which seemed a little desolate. If it hadn't been for the accidental massacre that year, his Qin family would have been so glorious. Today's 4 major families in Yanjing may become the 5 major families in Yanjing. And his Qin family must be the first, Shu Feng said with an indifferent expression. Just the Lu family. When I break through to the realm of Emperor Martial, the Lu family will be destroyed. Thinking of the humiliation Lu Chen had brought to him today, Shu Feng wanted to kill him with 1,000 knives. Lu Chen, you shouldn't mess with me. Because of your stupidity, the entire Lu family will be buried with you. Little friend Shu Feng, I'm afraid you don't have a place to stay yet, right? Qin Juge asked, stroking his gray beard. Qin Juge handed Shu Feng a piece of paper, which seemed to be an address. Qin Juge said, Little friend Shu Feng, please go to Lu Yunxiao according to the address on the note. He is also an old acquaintance of your master. With his help, it will not be difficult to develop in Yanjing. Shu Feng took the note handed over by Qin Juge. What was written on the note was Yanjing Martial Arts Academy. After a few simple greetings, Shu Feng left. He also knew that the current Qin family would not offend the Lu family, and he would not stay in the Qin family to cause trouble to Qin Juge. Looking at Shu Feng's retreating figure, Qin Tian finally expressed his inner dissatisfaction. Great Elder, do you really want to entrust the fate of my Qin family to him? Before this, we had nothing to do with him. Not sure. Opportunities often come with risks. You seem to have become accustomed to ease. Qin Tian, as the head of the family, you must understand this. Qin Juge only left these words and disappeared. Qin Juge believed in Shu Feng, and even more believed in the mysterious master behind Shu Feng. Qin Tian kept repeating the words left by Qin Juge. Opportunities are accompanied by risks. If the chess move was one step away, the Qin family would probably be ruined by this chance. After Lu Chen returned to the Lu family, he was called to the back mountain by the Lu family. Lu Chen said respectfully, I don't know why you, elders, have called me here? The majestic voice of the great elder Lu Zhanwang sounded. In a few days, the birthday banquet of the old head of the Su family will be held. In the past, that boy Lu Zhanyuan went to celebrate his birthday. Now he is in seclusion and practicing hard. When the time comes, you will go there on behalf of my Lu family. Happy birthday. The Su family, like the Lu family, belongs to the 4 major families in Yanjing. The annual birthday banquet of Su Shengyu, the old head of the Su family, must be the most solemn event in Yanjing. Countless wealthy nobles and children from rich families rush to celebrate his birthday. The reason is simply that the old head of the Su family, Su Shengyu, is the only powerful 7th grade martial emperor in the entire Yanjing. Because, once you reach the realm of Emperor Wu, your identity will become a secret of the Dragon Kingdom. However, Su Shengyu had been seriously ill for a long time, and he was afraid that he would not die soon. He returned to Su's family a few years ago and wanted to enjoy his old age in peace, but he has been struggling to hold on to his last breath these years. As a 7th grade martial emperor, the Lu family still has to give him enough face. But what Lu Chen didn't expect was that these old guys would actually let him celebrate Su Shengyu's birthday. It seems that these old guys also agree with him to some extent. Lu Chen said excitedly, Elders, please rest assured that I will definitely not disgrace the Lu family. I will prepare a gift right away. After Lu Chen left, a group of elders started talking. I think this brat is just fooling around. It seems to be no different from before. Maybe it's better to be on the safe side and let that girl Lu Wanqing go. Nonsense, brother has already decided. How can he change it at will? By the way, the little girl from the Su family likes Lu Chen very much. If Lu Chen shows up at Su Shengyu's birthday banquet, I'm afraid the old guy Su Shengyu will be pissed to death. I have lived for such a long time, but I still don't understand, what is it about Lu Chen that makes the little girl from the Su family like him? Hey, it would be fine if the Su family agreed, but this kid Lu Chen doesn't live up to expectations, and Su Shengyu doesn't look down on him at all. 3 days later, the Su family in Yanjing. The Su family's house was decorated with lanterns and colorful decorations and was very lively. For this birthday banquet, the entire Su family had been decorated on a large scale. Today is the birthday banquet of Su Shengyu, the head of the Su family. There is a sea of people outside the Su mansion. The avenues and alleys have been blocked. Both invited and uninvited people want to join in the fun. If you can get involved with the Su family, it will be a step to the sky. Lu Chen followed the regulations and handed the invitation to the guard outside Su's mansion, who was checking the invitation. Seeing that it was Lu Chen, the guard let him in without even looking at the invitation. He smiled and said, "Master Lu, please come in quickly. The lady has been waiting for you in the backyard for a long time." Lu Chen was slightly startled. "Miss? Could it be that little follower Su Beizi?" However, who else could it be besides her? He and Su Beizi haven't seen each other for half a year. It's funny to say that Su Beizi might have been angry with him during this period. 6 months ago, when he confessed to Qin Muyan and was rejected, Su Beizi couldn't bear it and defended Lu Chen. However, Lu Chen scolded her and told her to leave immediately and stop following him. That day, Su Beizi cried so hard that she swore to never talk to Lu Chen again. From that day on, Su Beizi never contacted Lu Chen again. What Lu Chen didn't know was that Su Beizi had been waiting for him to apologize. But Lu Chen didn't have Su Beizi in his heart before. His mind was full of Qin Muyan, and he didn't pay any attention to her. Now that he thinks about it, Lu Chen feels a little sorry for that little girl Su Beizi. Lu Chen relied on the memory of his predecessor and arrived at the Su family's backyard with ease. Lu Chen walked into the Su family's backyard, but there was no one here. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Didn't he say that Su Beizi was waiting for him in the backyard? Where are people? Then, a faint fragrance came from nowhere and overflowed into Lu Chen's nose. A pair of smooth and tender catkins were pressed on Lu Chen's eyes. The cold and smooth touch like mud and fat jade made Lu Chen feel refreshed for a moment. Only a young girl's voice mixed with some weirdness was heard. "Brother Lu Chen, guess who I am?" Lu Chen knew clearly in his heart that it was her Su Beizi without even thinking. "Could it be that you are Qin Muyan?" Lu Chen joked. "Huh? Humph." Su Beizi was stunned on the spot, her small and delicate Chong nose shrugged, her face turned cold, and there was an unprecedented unhappiness in her heart, as if there was something blocking her heart that made it difficult for her to breathe. Her girlish body trembled slightly, she let go of her fingers as soft as mud and fat jade, and turned around to leave. Lu Chen turned around, grabbed Su Beizi's tender pussy, and said softly, "Su Beizi, I'm joking, don't take it seriously." A childish and innocent face came into view. She had icy muscles and jade bones, and her skin was as white and smooth as snow jade. Her facial features were exquisite and flawless, and there was no flaw at all. At this time, the girl was wearing a white dress, with a full waist. The grip highlights her exquisite figure, and her clear eyes are filled with a purity that makes it difficult to have any delusions. Su Beizi took her hand away from Lu Chen's and said resentfully, "Brother Lu Chen, do you have the nerve to say that you haven't come to see me in half a year? Do you think I am so annoying to you?" To be honest, Lu Chen actually didn't hate Su Beizi at all. Compared to Lu Wanqing, who was trying to get things done, Su Beizi was simply not that good. Even Lu Chen didn't know why his predecessor was so unkind to Su Beizi, and even broke up with Su Beizi because of that woman Qin Muyan. Su Beizi's starry eyes, like autumn water, stared at Lu Chen's black pupils, and asked in a cold voice, "Don't think that I will forgive you if you don't speak. Tell me honestly, do you hate me?" "Su Beizi, do you want to hear the truth?" Lu Chen said with a sly smile. Su Beizi nodded slightly, she naturally wanted to hear the truth. "Su Beizi, actually I don't hate you at all. On the contrary, I like you very much. I wish you were my sister," Lu Chen said truthfully. Hearing this, Su Beizi was secretly happy, and said in a voice as soft and as thin as a mosquito, "I don't want to be your sister." Lu Chen didn't hear clearly and asked, "What did you say?" No. You heard wrong." Su Beizi lowered her head shyly, and a touch of red glow spread quickly from her snowy face to her neck. Lu Chen said dully, "Why are you blushing? Is it very hot today?" "Bai Ji, so you are here. Grandpa is looking for you." Just when Su Beizi didn't know how to answer, Su Yu's appearance made her grasp at straws. "Brother, Grandpa is looking for me. Then let's leave quickly. Brother Lu Chen, You can take a stroll first, and I'll come find you later. Su Beizi ran away like a deer, stumbling and stumbling. Lu Chen looked at the handsome young man in front of him, smiled slightly and said, Su Yu, are you okay? Lu Chen, I didn't expect you to come to celebrate my grandpa's birthday this year. Please be careful and don't embarrass the Lu family. Su Yu didn't say much to Lu Chen. He didn't think much of Lu Chen in the first place. I don't need to worry about brother Su anymore. Su Yu didn't say much. He didn't even have a good impression of Lu Chen. If they didn't belong to the four major families in Yanjing, Su Yu wouldn't even want to look at him. Lu Chen curled his lips, feeling underestimated again. Lu Chen left the backyard of the Su family and wandered around. Many people knew about Lu Chen's changes during this period. Now that Lu Chen also represented the Lu family at Su Shengyu's birthday banquet, some people naturally regarded Lu Chen as the next head of the Lu family. People kept coming up to fawn over them, and Lu Chen nodded politely in response. Lu Chen's deep eyes suddenly fell on a familiar figure. Why did he appear at the Su family's birthday banquet? Lu Chen stepped forward hesitantly and said, Chu Feng, are you okay? The moment Lu Chen appeared, Chu Feng also saw him. His eyebrows suddenly sank. Their eyes almost touched each other at the same time, causing fierce sparks. Chu Feng's whole body exudes an aura that can make any warrior tremble, and the battle between the two is about to break out. What surprised Chu Feng was that Lu Chen stepped forward to greet him without any hesitation. Was this provoking him? Ha ha ha, idiot Lu Chen, don't blame me for not warning you. If you dare to make trouble in the Su family, you know the consequences. Not only was Chu Feng not angry, but he laughed out loud. He naturally understood that Lu Chen dared to come forward so blatantly to challenge him, just to anger him. What do the guards of the Su family do? They let a wild dog like you in. Lu Chen snorted and said sarcastically. You? Chu Feng didn't want to make the matter a big deal. He had something he had to do today, and he couldn't ruin his plan just because of Lu Chen's appearance. Chu Feng suppressed the anger in his heart and sneered. There is no need to anger me, Lu Chen. I will have plenty of opportunities to teach you a lesson. Lu Chen slowly stretched out his fingers and raised a contemptuous gesture. Tisk, tisk, tisk. The scar is really healed and the pain is forgotten. 3 days ago, you were trampled under my feet like a dead dog, and you forgot so quickly? The curve of the corners of Chu Feng's mouth stiffened for a moment. Lu Chen actually dared to mention the incident 3 days ago. The smell of gunpowder between the two became stronger and stronger, and many people cast curious glances, looking forward to what would happen next. There won't really be a fight, right? If they dare to cause trouble at Su Sheng's birthday banquet, the two of them may not want to live anymore. At this time, an inappropriate voice sounded. Chu Feng, why are you still here? I'm looking for you. Lu Chen raised his eyes and said in surprise, it's him. The person who came to Chu Feng's rescue was none other than Lu Yunxiao, the principal of Yanjing Martial Arts Academy. He had the strength of a 6th-grade martial saint. No wonder Chu Feng was able to sneak into the Su family because of this. After Lu Chen was briefly surprised, his eyes returned to calmness. But when did Lu Yunxiao, the old biting, meet Chu Feng? But Lu Chen is also someone who is asking for trouble. If Lu Yunxiao was present, it would not be easy for him to embarrass Chu Feng. Lu Chen smiled slightly and said, since senior brother has something important to do, I won't bother you, we will talk about it another day. Chu Feng, do you know Lu Chen? After Lu Chen left, Lu Yunxiao walked to Chu Feng and asked. The two of them were at war with each other when they met just now. It was obvious that it was more than just an acquaintance. Principal Lu, do you still remember the bloodstain on my face 3 days ago? That scar was given by Lu Chen. Recalling what Lu Chen did to him 3 days ago, Chu Feng's tone suddenly became gloomy, but soon his expression gradually returned to calm. Lu Yunxiao was stunned. How could he not remember? Chu Feng looked extremely embarrassed that day, and he was completely different from Chu Feng today. As for the origin of the bloodstain, Chu Feng still refused to tell him. Lu Yunxiao also always thought that it was the scar left by Chu Feng's brutal plot. Otherwise, with Chu Feng's 5th-grade martial master's strength, it would be difficult to hurt him. But he never thought that the shocking bloodstain on Chu Feng's face was caused by Lu Chen. Today is the birthday banquet of the old head of the Su family. The grudge between you and Lu Chen must wait until the birthday banquet is over, otherwise even I won't be able to protect you. Lu Yunxiao warned him as he saw the looming hatred in Chu Feng's eyebrows. Thank you, senior, for your warning. I understand the truth. Well, there is someone who wants to see you, come with me. After comforting Chu Feng, Lu Yunxiao said. Who? Chu Feng said blankly. He had just arrived, so maybe not many people knew him. Director of the Yanjing Martial Arts Bureau, Yi Wuhai. Brother Lu Chen, sit here. Su Beizi, who had already entered the venue, stood up excitedly when she saw Lu Chen, with her exquisite figure on full display. Lu Chen looked at Su Beizi. Her position was in the first row of the birthday banquet. Lu Chen said to himself, it's just what I want. So he sat directly next to Su Beizi, and many people around him were stunned. Didn't it mean that Su Beizi and Lu Chen broke up? What, are they reconciled again now? This group of people only dared to speculate in their hearts that neither the Lu family nor the Su family could be offended by them. Brother Lu Chen, I seem to have seen Qin Muyan just now. She seemed to have come to celebrate my grandpa's birthday. The girl's light voice was mixed with a little displeasure, obviously because of Qin Muyan's appearance. Lu Chen's eyes moved slightly and he responded simply, without causing any emotion. Su Beizi was a little surprised. She raised her watery eyes and stared at Lu Chen's eyes. Why was Lu Chen so calm? Lu Chen was not like this in the past. Whenever he heard Qin Muyan's name, he felt like a dog had seen something. Is it true that brother Lu Chen has lost interest in Qin Muyan, as rumored recently? Su Beizi pursed her red lips slightly, thinking a lot in her heart. She blinked her eyes like glass, and glanced sideways at Lu Chen's profile from time to time. At this time, Su Beizi's heart was like a deer beating wildly, and her head was hot, as if it was about to burn. The two fell into silence for a moment, and Lu Chen simply closed his eyes and rested his mind. Seeing Lu Chen's unconcerned look, Su Beizi snorted, clenched her fist tightly, and landed weakly on Lu Chen's chest. There were more and more people in the hall, including many of Lu Chen's acquaintances, including Ling Tian, as well as Ling Tian's eldest brother Ling Chongkong and second brother Ling Chongfeng. Naturally, Chu Feng was included among these people. It's just that there is one more person beside Chu Feng at this time. Lu Chen naturally knew him. That person was Yi Wuhai, the director of the Yanjing Martial Arts Bureau. At the same time, Yi Wuhai is also the younger brother of the head of the Yi family, one of the four major families in Yanjing. Lu Chen gritted his teeth secretly. He really underestimated Chu Feng. If he got close to Yi Wuhai, that didn't mean that the Yi family behind him also. Brother Lu Chen, what's wrong with you? Seeing that Lu Chen's face was gloomy and uncertain, Su Beizi raised her little head and asked. Lu Chen smiled softly and tried his best to hide the throbbing in his heart. How could he fight Chu Feng if he continued like this? Just met a nasty guy. Following Lu Chen's eyes, Su Beizi also noticed Chu Feng, and the girl secretly thought, could it be that he is the guy that brother Lu Chen hates? Su Beizi withdrew her eyes and told Lu Chen about interesting things in the past 6 months. Lu Chen listened quietly and echoed a few words from time to time. This troubled Qin Muyan, who was sitting in the back row. She was very uncomfortable with the close behavior between Lu Chen and Su Beizi. In order to pursue her, Lu Chen vowed not to have anything to do with Su Beizi until he died. Now that I have her body, I have forgotten my original vow. Sure enough, men are all the same. The birthday banquet officially began, and the Su family's servants entered from the main entrance pushing a wheelchair. The person sitting upright in the wheelchair is none other than Su Shengyu, the old head of the Su family, the only powerful person in the realm of the 7th-grade martial emperor in the entire Dragon Kingdom. The old man had a senile look and his eyes were cloudy, but he was still energetic, giving people the appearance of someone who was about to die. Afterwards, many flattering people stood up to greet the arrival of the Emperor Wu. Su Shengyu was pushed onto the stage by his servants, and his majestic voice sounded. Take a seat, I would like to thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedule to wish me a birthday. Senior Su is joking, it's our honor to come to wish you a happy birthday. Many people echoed. Yes, this is our honor. In that case, why don't you all take this opportunity to give your congratulatory gifts to Senior Su? One person suggested. Okay, I'll go first. Junior Ling Chongkong, I wish Senior Su that he will be as blessed as the East Sea and live longer than the Southern Mountains. This is the treasure that my Ling family has treasured for many years, the Millennium Blood Ginseng. I take this opportunity to dedicate it to Senior Su, and I hope Senior Su will accept it. Ling Chongkong opened the wooden box, and a red ginseng appeared in front of everyone, which made many people gasp in surprise. It turned out to be a 1,000-year-old blood ginseng. The ordinary 1,000-year-old ginseng is already a peerless treasure. The Ling family actually used such a precious treasure as a gift. It is truly worthy of the Ling family, one of the 4 major families in Yanjing. I am afraid no one else can do this. Tisk, tisk, in this case, the birthday gift we carefully prepared is not enough. Su Shengyu's cloudy eyes shrank slightly, glowing with fiery light. 1,000-year-old blood ginseng is rare to come by, but the Ling family is really willing to give it up. Su Shengyu chuckled and said, I will accept the blood ginseng, old man. I would like to thank you, little friend Ling. After seeing Su Shengyu accept his gift, Ling Chongkong was very proud, although it was true that there were no powerful martial emperors behind the Ling family, who would dislike him for having so many allies. Ling Chongkong closed the wooden box and handed it to the Su family's servant. He stood proudly with his hands behind his back and said, My Ling family specially donated the 1,000-year-old blood ginseng that has been collected for many years to Senior Su. I didn't know that the Lu family and the Yi family were planning to give it away. What kind of gift should I give to Senior Su? With one word, the Ling family openly shouted at the Lu family and the Yi family. Could it be that they wanted to cause trouble? The Lu family and the Lin family, both belonging to the 4 major families in Yanjing, will naturally become the targets of the Ling family. Ling Chongkong looked at Lu Chen, who was sitting next to Su Beizi, and said with a slight smile, Lu Chen, I wonder what your Lu family has prepared this time to celebrate Senior Su's birthday. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Does what I prepare have anything to do with you? However, there were so many people here that it was difficult for Lu Chen to have an attack. He stood up and a transparent glass bottle suddenly appeared in his hand. Many people were waiting eagerly to see what rare treasures the Lu family would come up with to compare with the Ling family. Ling Chongkong sneered and said sarcastically, Insects, I have underestimated you after all. Lu Chen, Senior Su has a birthday party. You prepared insects as a birthday gift. Do you want to tease Senior Su? Hearing this, everyone burst into laughter. Lu Chen is truly the most useless person among the 4 major families in Yanjing. He can mess up such an important thing. Senior Su actually gave him a disgusting insect at his birthday party. If someone hadn't suggested giving the gift in person, Lu Chen would have been fooled into getting through. Su Shengyu was equally displeased and looked at Lu Chen with a frosty expression. Today was his birthday party. Even if Lu Chen didn't prepare any birthday gifts, he wouldn't have any resentment. However, Lu Chen used a bedbug as a birthday gift. Su Shengyu inevitably felt that this was the Lu family, humiliating him. Insects, if Ling Chongkong doesn't use your eyes, please donate them. Lu Chen responded calmly, then raised the glass bottle in his hand and said, Anyone with a bit of eyesight can see that the bug in my hand is definitely not an ordinary bedbug. Tisk, you're trying to be mysterious. I don't believe this bedbug can be a treasure. Hearing this, everyone once again focused their attention on the transparent glass bottle in Lu Chen's hand. The little bug in the glass bottle was as big as a silkworm baby. Its whole body exuded a pearl-like white light. It was a bit chubby in shape, but had a little bit of shape to it. Cute. Ling Chongkong frowned and said, Isn't it just a stink bug? I can have as many of these flesh bugs as I want in the back of the Ling family. At this time, a skinny old man in a black robe in the crowd sneered, You can have as many as you want? When did the Ling family raise a waist with no eyesight? Ling Chongkong's face twitched, and when he turned around, he saw an old man covering his body with a black robe looking at him with a gloomy look. The contempt in his eyes directly drove Ling Chongkong crazy. How dare this old man humiliate him in public? No matter how well-mannered Ling Chongkong is, he still gets angry uncontrollably. He is the dignified eldest son of the Ling family, doesn't he have no respect for face? Ling Chongkong's eyes flashed coldly, and he lowered his voice and said, Dare I ask, old man, who are you? Do you know the origin of this insect? The old man in black robe ignored Ling Chongkong's question and instead said to Lu Chen, My little friend, is the thing in your bottle a GU worm from Miao territory? Lu Chen looked surprised and immediately said with a smile, I didn't expect that someone would really recognize it. That's right, old man. The thing in the bottle is exactly the GU worm from the Miao border, and it is a rare wine worm. I am also not convinced. It took all my efforts to get this wine bug by luck. Chu Feng frowned slightly, GU insect? Alcohol bug? The first time he heard about GU insects was from his master Feng Zhu. This is the first time I have seen it, and I never expected that the round and fat bug turned out to be a priceless wine bug. But how did Lu Chen get this kind of GU insect that was far away in Miao territory? GU worm, this is my first time seeing it. Has Brother Yi ever seen it before? Lu Yunxiao touched his beard and thought thoughtfully. Speaking of GU worms, it reminds me of an old friend. It's just that that guy may have become food for GU worms, but this is the first time I've seen this wine worm. Yi Wuhai stared at the glass in Lu Chen's hand. Bottle, recalled. Old friend. Could it be that he is the master of poisonous poisons, an old poisoner who has cultivated poisonous poisons all over the world? Lu Yunxiao frowned. Yi Wuhai didn't respond, seeming to acquiesce. The 10,000 poison venom lord Dugu Shi used a poisonous scorpion to poison a 7th grade martial emperor to death. But since then, Dugu Shu has completely disappeared. It is rumored that he has become the nourishment for poisonous poison, and some people say that he is hiding to avoid his enemies. But no one has been able to confirm these two claims. Two seniors, the GU worm in Lu Chen's hand is probably not simple. It's probably not ordinary people who can breed this worm to be so round and fat. When Chu Feng saw the GU insect for the first time, he couldn't help but feel excited. Hearing this, Yi Wuhai and Lu Yunxiao both frowned slightly. Isn't Chu Feng talking nonsense? How could a GU master who could breed this insect be a mediocre person? Little friend, I am willing to pay 1 billion. No, 5 billion to buy the wine bug in your hands. The old man in black robe initially wanted to buy this little wine bug for 1 billion, but then he thought that the Lu family of the 4 major families would not be short of this small amount of money, so he raised the price some more. One word stirs up 1,000 waves. Is a bug worth 5 billion? I'll just change my career and go home to raise bugs. The mysterious old man in black robe offered a sky-high price, causing everyone to exclaim. Although the people at the table had seen strong winds and waves, the fact that a bug was worth 5 billion was beyond their knowledge. Lu Chen hesitated and said, Senior, this is not acceptable. This wine bug is dedicated to Senior Su as a gift. If I sell it to you, I won't be able to give you anything else as a gift. Hey, that's me being rude. The old man in black robe sat down disappointedly. He had traveled throughout the entire Miao territory and had never seen anything as round and fat as the wine bug in Lu Chen's hand. It would be great if he could use it to refine GU. When Ling Chongkong saw Lu Chen singing along with the old man in black robes, he felt depressed. He dared to ignore him. He was so impatient. Ling Chongkong suppressed his inner annoyance and said respectfully, I wonder what I call you, senior. The old man's voice came from under the black robe. You are not qualified to know my name. Ling Chongkong. INM. Ling Chongkong is the young head of the Ling family, the 4 heads of the Yanjing family. The next head of the Ling family is not qualified to know the name of this black-robed old man. So where does this old man in black robe come from? Ling Chongkong wanted to say something more, but considering that the birthday banquet had to go on, he could only sit down and sit back in his seat, and said gloomily to Ling Chongfeng beside him, Go and find out for me who this old man is. Yes, sir. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Lu Chen handed the glass bottle into Su Shengyu's old, dry twig-like hands. Lu Chen smiled and said, I heard that Grandpa Su is addicted to alcohol, so this wine bug is perfect for making wine. HMPH, Lu Chen, what are your intentions? Don't you know that Senior Su has given up drinking for a long time due to health reasons? Yes, this Lu Chen has good intentions and does bad things. It's no secret that Senior Su can't drink. How could Lu Chen not know? Su Beizi's white little hands clenched tightly. How could brother Lu Chen forget that Grandpa couldn't drink? If Grandpa gets angry, I'm afraid he will break brother Lu Chen's legs. Many people in the audience laughed softly, ready to see Lu Chen's joke. At this time, the old man in black robe spoke again. This is a wine bug. It only needs to be soaked in water for a while to release the aroma of wine. It tastes just like real wine and does not harm the human body. It is beneficial and harmless. It is just used soaking this treasure in wine would be a waste. Hearing this, Su Shengyu looked at the old man in black robe again. Under the black robe, those dim eyes made Su Shengyu feel uneasy. Su Shengyu always felt that he had seen these eyes before. Could he be an old friend from many years ago? After the birthday banquet is over, he must be invited to see him. Is the wine brewed by wine bugs really beneficial and harmless? Su Shengyu became interested. He had given up drinking for many years in order to stabilize his condition. If he could have a taste now, he would be willing to agree to anything. The old man is right. The wine brewed with wine bugs is indeed beneficial and harmless, and it can also whiten and nourish the skin. Lu Chen said with a smile. Ha ha ha, come and get some water. I want to see what's so magical about this wine bug. Dad, you believe Lu Chen's lies. For the sake of your health, you can't drink anything. Su Haoran, the current head of the Su family, advised. Your father and I haven't had a drink in years. I'm happy today. What's wrong with a sip? Su Shengyu glared angrily, making all the Su family disciples dare not come forward to persuade him. If what Lu Chen said was true, then Su Shengyu would no longer have to rack his brains just to sneak a few sips of wine. Lu Chen, don't blame me for not reminding you. If something goes wrong with my grandfather, my Su family will be at odds with your Lu family. Su Yu stood up and said mercilessly. Many people showed expressions of gloating. If something went wrong with Su Shengyu, both the Su family and the Lu family would suffer, and there might be only 2 of the 4 major families in Yanjing left. Chu Feng, who was not far away, slightly clenched his palms, looking eager to try. Chu Feng is probably the person who is most looking forward to something happening to Su Shengyu now. If Mr. Su was unconscious on the spot, and he could rely on his superb medical skills to treat Su Shengyu, the benefits would be needless to say. In the end, everyone in the Su family had no choice but to prepare a bowl of water. Lu Chen opened the glass bottle and poured the wineworms into the bowl. The glistening white insect seemed to be frightened. Its reunited body floated on the water and kept twisting. Everyone looked up and down. Would this little insect be drowned? Only the mysterious old man in black robe had a dissatisfied face. His cloudy old eyes were staring at the struggling meatworms in the bowl, and the muscles on his face were twitching with distress. The old man in black robe secretly cursed in his heart. They are a bunch of hopeless fools who use wine bugs to make wine. If I refine the poison for me, I will poison you bastards to death. After a while, the rich aroma of wine overflowing from the bowl overflowed into Su Shengyu's nose. Everyone present smelled the aroma of wine almost at the same time. Such a strong aroma of wine was so refreshing that many drunkards swallowed dryly. Surprised, Su Shengyu brought his nose closer and took a sharp sniff. Fragrant, it smells so good. Su Shengyu laughed and said, it really smells good, ha ha ha, you are indeed a wine bug. Lu Chen waved his hand, and the wine bugs soaked in the bowl flew out and returned to the glass bottle. Su Shengyu raised his turbid old eyes and glanced at Lu Chen, and immediately drank the wine in the bowl impatiently, not even letting go of the remaining wine stains at the corner of his mouth. Su Shengyu licked the corners of his chapped lips and laughed heartily. Good wine, really good wine. Even the fine wine in heaven and earth is nothing more than this. I can drink such a fairy wine before I die, and I will die without anything. What a pity, ha ha ha. Dad, what are you talking about? Su Haoran, the head of the Su family, frowned and started talking nonsense after drinking some wine. Ha ha, Lu Chen, did you really give me this wine bug? Su Shengyu's eyes flickered a few times and he said with a playful smile. Lu Chen looked at Su Shengyu calmly and said, this is natural, Grandpa Su. I have long heard that you are addicted to alcohol, and the wine bug is of no use to me, so it is perfect as a gift. Su Shengyu laughed heartily and said, okay, then I will accept it. Thank you very much. Grandpa Su said something serious. After Lu Chen stepped down from the stage, his black eyes looked at Ling Chongkong not far away, and he smiled jokingly, as if he was provoking. The corners of Ling Chongkong's mouth twitched slightly. Damn it, Lu Chen was pretending. Brother Lu Chen, is the wine bug you gave Grandpa really okay? Su Beizi tilted her head and said worriedly. Don't worry, silly girl. When have I ever lied to you? Besides, Grandpa Su is your grandpa, so he is my grandpa. I have no reason to harm him. Lu Chen whispered in Su Beizi's ear, trying to calm Su Beizi's worries. I'm not stupid, it's just that Grandpa's condition seems to have worsened recently. I'm just worried about him. Su Beizi lowered her head, pursed her red lips and whispered softly, as if talking to herself. Then take a good look at Grandpa Su and see if he is any different from before. No the same? Su Beizi's clear, watery eyes were focused on the old man on the stage, Su Shengyu's face was glowing red at this moment, and he seemed to be more active than before. Su Beizi was slightly surprised. Her grandfather seemed to be more energetic than before. Brother Lu Chen. Grandpa, he. That's right, Grandpa Su's health improved slightly after drinking the wine brewed by the wine bug. If he keeps drinking it, it won't be a problem to recover from his injuries. Hearing this, Su Beizi was so surprised that she couldn't speak and looked at Lu Chen blankly. Lu Chen gently rubbed Su Beizi's little head and smiled like a warm spring breeze. Don't worry, if I hurt Grandpa Su, that guy Su Yu will cut me into pieces. Su Beizi chuckled. Why has brother Lu Chen become so interesting after not seeing him for half a year? Well, I believe brother Lu Chen. Every move made by Lu Chen and Su Beizi fell into the eyes of Qin Muyan, who was in the back row. She only felt a tightness in her chest, as if it was blocked by something. She doesn't understand what's wrong with her, just because Lu Chen ignored him. In the past, she wished that Lu Chen could go away, but now that Lu Chen was no longer bothered, she was a little uncomfortable. When she saw Lu Chen and other girls hanging around, her heart felt even more cramped. Lu Chen has changed. Why has she changed too? Qin Muyan was upset. She turned her head and no longer looked at Lu Chen. After Lu Chen brought out the wineworm as a congratulatory gift, many people were unwilling to go on stage and embarrass themselves. Compared with the previous gifts from the Ling family and the Lu family, their gifts were obviously not enough. They all waited for the birthday banquet to be over and handed them over to the Su family's butler alone for his name. After seeing no one on the stage and presenting gifts, the Yi family began to get ready to make some moves. They had prepared a big gift for the Su family. Chu Feng, it's time for us to present our gifts. Come on stage with me. Yi Wuhai stood up and said to Chu Feng beside him. Yes, Senior Yi. Afterwards, Yi Wuhai took Chu Feng onto the stage and prepared to give a gift. Lu Chen's eyes were in a trance, and he murmured to himself. Is the show about to begin? What kind of surprise will you bring me, Chu Feng? Junior Yi Wuhai. I wonder if Senior Su still remembers me, Yi Wuhai said respectfully with his hands raised. Haha, who did I forget? I can't forget you, kid. You haven't visited me once since I came back, Su Shengyu said angrily. I'm so busy with everything that I really can't get out of it. To express my apology, I prepared a big gift for Senior Su today. Oh, a big gift? Su Shengyu immediately became interested. It would not be easy for Yi Wuhai to call it a great gift. Junior Chu Feng has met Senior Su. Chu Feng took a step forward and cupped his hands. Su Shengyu frowned slightly. Who is this kid? Yi Wuhai said word by word. Senior Su. Chu Feng is the birthday gift I prepared for you. I think Yi Wuhai is confused. Can this living person be used as a birthday gift? Are you afraid that the Yi family wants to come and cause trouble? Some people even speculated. Could it be that Su Shengyu is as good as Long Yang? There were constant discussions around him, and Su Shengyu's cloudy old eyes flashed with cold light. He said in a deep voice. Young man Yi, what do you mean by this? Are you here to tease me? In an instant, Su Shengyuwu Emperor's cultivation exploded without sparing any effort, and the unrivaled pressure covered Yi Wuhai and Chu Feng. Senior Su, calm down. Senior Su, please calm down. I don't know, Senior, that Chu Feng is the disciple of the Phoenix medical immortal who has disappeared for a long time. I am here today to wish you a birthday, Senior. Yi Wuhai said sonorously that the name Feng Medical Fairy gave him great confidence, and he was not afraid even when facing Su Shengyu. What, Phoenix Medical Fairy, isn't it rumored that she is dead? You said it was just a rumor yourself. How could you die so easily with Feng Medical Immortal's peerless medical skills? This young man named Chu Feng turned out to be a disciple of Feng Medical Fairy. At that time, many wealthy young men in Yanjing were fighting for their lives to be the registered disciple of Feng Medical Fairy. In the end, something unexpected happened. As soon as Yi Wuhai said this, countless people sighed. Among them was the mysterious old man in black robe. His skinny body under the black robe could not stop trembling slightly, and he kept repeating softly. She is still alive, she is still alive, haha, she is still alive. The old man's eyes under the black robe shone with cold light and were gloomy. These abyss-like eyes looked at Chu Feng on the stage. I didn't expect that your boy is actually her disciple. I can finally avenge my shame. At that time, Feng Zhu was known to everyone in Yanjing. With his superb medical skills, Feng Zhu could kill people with flesh and give birth to bones. The violent aura exuded by Su Shengyu decreased sharply, and his noisy clothes returned to calm. He murmured, "Feng Medical Fairy." Su Shengyu's turbid old eyes were in a trance, as if he was also immersed in deep memories. The miracle doctor, who was like a man from heaven, was still alive, and the strange young man in front of him was her disciple. Chu Feng breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Senior Su, I came here this time just to treat Senior's illness. It can also be regarded as repaying some kindness for the teacher." "Are you really a disciple of Feng Medical Fairy? Where is she now?" Su Shengyu obviously didn't trust Chu Feng. Although he had a chance encounter with Feng Zhu and said a word for her, his kindness was not enough. "Senior Su, I'm sorry. Master doesn't allow me to reveal her secrets to anyone." Chu Feng refused. Su Shengyu paused slightly and looked at Chu Feng again. Chu Feng said with a smile on his lips, "Senior Su, if you don't believe it, do you still remember this set of fierce sun needles?" Everyone's eyes fell on the small red needle that appeared out of thin air in Chu Feng's hand. Su Shengyu's body shook slightly. Now he was 70% convinced that the young man named Chu Feng in front of him was the Phoenix Medical Fairy who had disappeared for a long time. Disciple. Seeing that the time was almost up, Lu Chen stood up and said, "Senior Su, I can prove to my senior brother that he is a disciple of Feng Medical Fairy." Chu Feng turned to look at Lu Chen and roared in his heart, "Damn it, it's Lu Chen again. If you mess up my important affairs, I will make sure you die without a burial place." "Oh, senior brother?" Many people also know that Lu Chen went to study under a teacher some time ago. But whose teacher he worshipped and whose skill he learned is unknown. Lu Chen just called Chu Feng his senior brother. Could it be that Lu Chen is also a disciple of Feng Medical Fairy? "Little friend Chu Feng, could it be that you and Master Lu Chen are from the same sect?" Su Shengyu asked. Chu Feng smiled jokingly and said, "Yes, senior, Lu Chen is indeed my junior brother, but he has evil intentions and was kicked out of the school by the master some time ago." Lu Chen sneered in his heart, "Chu Feng did this by yourself." Lu Chen said with a gloomy expression, "Senior brother, what do you mean by this? I had good intentions to prove it for you, but you made my past known to the public. It is your usual style to burn bridges by crossing rivers." As soon as Lu Chen said this, many people also showed a little contempt for Chu Feng. "I thought he was some serious person, but I didn't expect him to be such an ungrateful hypocrite." Chu Feng looked at Lu Chen in confusion. Was there something wrong? Why is it that everyone is paying attention not to Lu Chen being expelled from the school, but to him crossing the river and burning the bridge? Chu Feng suddenly understood. No wonder Lu Chen kindly stood up to prove for him. It turned out that he wanted to put himself in an unkind and unjust place. "You are an abandoned disciple. What qualifications do you have to judge me?" Lu Chen said with a joking smile, "I'm afraid my senior brother knows best why I was expelled from the school. To be honest, everyone, Lu Chen, am also a direct disciple of Feng Medical Fairy. However, a few days ago, I was framed by someone using despicable means, and the master expelled me out of anger." The sudden change confused Yi Wuhai on the stage and Lu Yunxiao in the audience. Lu Chen is actually a direct disciple of Feng Medical Fairy. Haha. You are bragging and using the name of Master to cheat. Today I will clean up the house for Master. After saying that, the true energy in Chu Feng's body was circulating, and the strength of the 5th grade martial master was fully revealed. Su Shengyu couldn't help but exclaimed, "You are already a 5th grade martial master at a young age. You will definitely be extraordinary in the future. But if you want to cause trouble in my Su family, you are not qualified." Quiet. A powerful and old voice came like a bell, causing everyone's ears to hurt. The weak ones even fell into fainting on the spot. Su Shengyu's old and powerful voice sounded, "I don't care what grudges you have between you, but if you dare to take action without permission in my Su family, I will never give you mercy." Chu Feng gritted his teeth and said, "Yes. Since you two are both direct disciples of Feng Medical Fairy, which one of you is stronger in medical skills?" Chu Feng glanced at Lu Chen coldly, then took a step forward and said, "Of course he is a boy. Lu Chen is just an outsider who joined the master's school halfway. He has not learned a single move from the master, let alone the medical skills," said. "So, your medical skills are far superior to Lu Chen's. It's natural. In terms of medical skills, Lu Chen is not even qualified to carry my shoes. I am afraid that only my master's medical skills are better than mine in the world. Chu Feng vowed. Arrogant. What an arrogant young man. You don't know that there are people outside the world, and there is a heaven outside the world. Even my medical skills dare not claim to be invincible. You, a nobody, dare to make such nonsense here? As soon as Chu Feng finished speaking, the old man in black robe who was willing to buy Lu Chenju Chong for 5 billion slowly stood up and snorted. Everyone looked at the old man in black robe almost at the same time. The old man covered his body with a black robe from beginning to end, as if he was deliberately hiding himself. The old man slowly took off the black robe on his head, revealing his true appearance. The old man had white hair, deep-set eye sockets covered with bloodshot eyes, and a thin face with almost no flesh on it, like a mummy. The moment he saw the old man standing up, an inexplicable smile appeared at the corner of Lu Chen's lips. Are you finally unable to sit still? Who are you? Chu Feng looked displeased and asked, why does someone always come to interrupt him every time he shows off his power? Remember me, old friend? I came uninvited, don't be surprised. The old man in black robe laughed dryly and said to Su Shengyu, who was behind Chu Feng. You are indeed still alive. You are indeed still alive, Dugu Shu. Su Shengyu smiled with relief, not surprised at all by Dugu Zan's appearance. What, he turns out to be Dugu Cheng, the Gu master who once poisoned a strong man in the martial emperor realm. Why did he appear here? Could it be that he came to kill Senior Su? Everyone present became nervous at the same time. If Dugu Shu poisoned him here, everyone would be buried here. Surround him. Don't let him escape. The appearance of Dugu Shu made everyone's hearts jump into their throats. The guards of the Su family also rushed to the scene immediately and surrounded Dugu Shu. Ha ha ha, Su Shengyu. Do you think these shrimp soldiers and crab generals can stop me? If I wanted to kill you, I would have done it long ago. Why wait until now? Su Shengyu frowned deeply. Since he wasn't here to kill him, why did Dugu Zan show up at his birthday party? It's impossible to really come to wish him a birthday. At first I just wanted to see you, to see if you were really dying as a hero as the outside world said. But seeing your hemiplegic appearance now, I felt relieved. Dugu Zan changed his words, looked at Chu Feng and said, but, this kid just made such nonsense here, which made me very unhappy. I suddenly became interested and wanted to compete with him. If I lose, I will leave. If, old man, you broke into the Su family without permission and you still want to leave safely? The elder of the Su family hiding in the dark said. Shut up. You useless loser. Su Shengyu's eyes widened angrily and he cursed. Even when he was at his peak, he would not dare to challenge Dugu Shu in person. In an instant, the elder of the Su family who provoked Dugu Shu kept making hoarse sounds, his body twisted and twitched, and a pool of green pus and blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth. He knelt on the ground and stopped breathing completely after a few seconds. Apparently dead. Seeing this situation, many people's eyes were filled with fear. It was so terrifying to wipe out the vitality of the 6th grade martial saint so easily. When he looked at Dugu Shu again, his eyes showed not only fear, but also a bit of awe. Su Shengyu, I can help you deal with this idiot who doesn't know how to live or die, should there be no problem, right? Su Shengyu dared not speak out in anger, so he could only cough a few times to cover up his inner anger. He casually killed a 6th grade martial saint of the Su family. Dugu Zan's strength is probably infinitely close to the realm of demigods. Continuing with the topic just now, if I lose, I will leave. But, if I win, everyone present will have to pay the price for this kid's arrogance. The price? Old Dong. Senior, what price do we have to pay? One person summoned the courage and asked with a trembling voice. The price is to become the nourishment for my GU. Dugu Chan said calmly, with no emotion at all in his words. What, you want us to become food for the GU insects? I haven't lived enough yet. Get out of the way, I want to leave. That's right, what does that kid's nonsense have to do with us? If he dies, he will die alone. Chu Feng, you really deserve to die. Afterwards, many people wanted to leave. They did not want to put their lives in the hands of an arrogant person they had never met. Want to leave? I haven't agreed yet. Suddenly, several poisonous scorpions flew out from under Dugu Shu's black robe at an extremely fast speed. The poisonous scorpions landed on the necks of the people who stood up, and the poisonous scorpions' sword tails full of poison were seen, and they struck fiercely. stab into the necks of those people. Only a few screams were heard, and a few more figures appeared on the ground. Dead again. This Dugeksu is simply a murderous lunatic. Brother Yi, do you want to contact the General Administration of Martial Arts? This Dugushu is beyond our control. Lu Yunshao's voice came to Yi Wuhai's ears. Yi Wuhai frowned and thought to himself, if he angered Dugushu, these dignitaries in Yanjing would probably be buried with him for his stupidity. If Chu Feng wins, they may still have a glimmer of hope. Now I can only place my hope on Chu Feng. Yi Wuhai shook his head slightly and rejected Lu Yunshao's idea. Even if the General Administration of Martial Arts is notified now, it will be useless to send people. They can only come and collect the bodies for them. Chu Feng was not afraid in the face of danger. He took a step forward and said, I wonder what senior wants to compare with me. Aren't you a direct disciple of Feng Medical Fairy? Her medical skills back then were inferior to mine, so why not let me test your medical skills to see if you are qualified to be the number 2 in the world? Okay, I promise you, but you must ensure that after I win, I will not harm anyone present, Chu Feng said righteously. Haha, this is natural. I keep my word and will never break my promise. I wonder how senior will test me. A green vial appeared out of thin air in Dugu Cheng's hand, which was like a withered branch. Dugu Cheng joked. This is my latest refined soul-eating poison. If you can detoxify this poison within half an hour, you win. Good. Chu Feng gritted his teeth. He was not 100% sure that he could successfully detoxify the poison, but he had no other choice at this time. The lives of everyone present were in his hands. If he takes a step back, everyone will die. Nowadays, we can only act like a living doctor and bite the bullet. In that case, Su Shengyu will offend you and drink it. Dugu Zan threw the green vial in his hand to Su Shengyu and said in a commanding tone. Grandfather, no, absolutely not. Su Beizi, Su Yu and other members of the Su family all exclaimed. They knew Su Shengyu's physical condition best. If you drink Dugu Xuan's soul-eating poison, even if you don't die, it's almost the same. Old man, if you don't want to drink, let your grandson drink for you. A gloomy thought flashed in Dugu Cheng's eyes, and he grabbed the void with his skinny palm. Su Yu's body in the distance was uncontrollable and flew straight towards Dugu Cheng. Dugu Zan pinched Su Yu's throat and said in a cold voice, Do you drink it, old dog Su, or does your grandson drink it? At this moment, Su Yu rolled his eyes and his face was pale and weak. After a few brief struggles, his hands collapsed and he fell into a coma. Several shocking bloody scratches appeared on his neck. Dugu Zan, let me go. I'll just drink it. Su Sheng desperately wanted to get up, but severe pain came from his legs, stimulating his nerves, causing the corners of his mouth to twitch and his teeth to chatter. If he hadn't been paraplegic, he would have given Dugu Cheng some color. He, Su Shengyu, was not someone to be bullied. It's such a touching picture of the deep love between grandfather and grandson. I haven't been so happy for decades, haha. Dugu Shu threw Su Yu aside, stroking his palms and laughing, almost losing his voice with laughter. He was really heartbroken. Finally, under the gaze of everyone, Su Shengyu had no choice but to drink the thick liquid in the green vial. In an instant, Su Shengyu's expression changed. His turbid old eyes became dull, and a mouthful of dark turbid blood spurted out. Father! Grandfather! Everyone in the Su family fell down next to Su Shengyu and checked his injuries. As for Su Yu, who fell into a coma, he was naturally ignored by everyone. Dugu Shu kindly reminded.